Fitch, would you do our prayer this morning? Say our prayer, not do it. Say, hold on, let him get his mic on. Oh.
Lord, we thank you for this day. Just thank you for all your blessings you give us, Lord. Pray you give us guidance and wisdom as we prepare this budget for the county. Pray you be with this whole county, Lord, with all the virus and all our first responders, our workers today for the county, and protect us all, Lord. Bless each and every one that's here today. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, for the record, this is our second day of workshops with our department heads for the 2020-21 budget. Today's the 23rd of July, 9 a.m. 2020. And we begin the morning with our Sheriff Tim Ingram. So I will turn the floor over to Sheriff Ingram.
Okay, hey, thank you, Judge. Hey, all I'm asking for is pretty much the same budget that I had last year. Not asking for any items out of the budget. Now, I am going to ask for something in a minute, but it don't come out of our tax money. This comes out of commissary. But as far as the taxpayers' money, actually, I'm reducing it by right at $15,000 this year over last year. So we're less this year. We've actually was able to reduce a little bit. But just asking for, I think, Barbara, on the gas and oil, I think we'll probably, hopefully it won't go up. I think we'll be fine there. That's one of the items that we don't know. Just like you guys, what it's going to cost if gas goes up. But I think we can make it on the same budget on that possibly. So I'm not asking any more for gas and oil. But all the other items the same, except capital outlay is less this year than what it was last year. So I'm just asking for 4 cars. I do need 1 more camera, but still it only comes out to $167,000 on my cover sheet. You got it. I accidentally put the comma in the wrong place. That's actually $167,484.70 what I'm asking for, which is a reduction of right at $15,000 over last year. So, but other than that, just asking that you guys just give me the money to operate, just what I had last year, not asking for anything more on that. Do you have any questions on that?
Those Tahoes have been a good decision?
These Tahoes have been an excellent decision. We've had these things 2 years now. This is the second year we've had them. We have literally had zero maintenance other than just regular, like putting tires on them and changing oil. Other than that, we have had nothing to go wrong with these Tahoes.
How's the mileage compared to those old 6-cylinders?
You talking about the gas mileage?
Yeah.
It's a little bit more, but actually not that much. Not as we're not seeing. Barbara, you seeing? But we haven't had any additions to our budget on our gas. So yeah, I don't think it's that much.
And they
more.
look like they're about the same price, maybe a little more now.
Well, they're a little bit higher in price than the others, but they're cheaper. Simple fact, because the maintenance is not near. Your operation cost ain't near what it's been. These things are just not giving us any trouble.
And buying 4 a year means your turnover is going to be what? How long will those things last you?
Well, now when we get the Tahoes all in there, I'm going to try to go longer.
5? What? 4?
Yeah, we're going to try to go maybe 6 years on them. Hopefully, we can when we get fully staffed with these things. Hopefully, we can start buying less because right now we're getting around 130 to 145,000 on the ones we have now. The Dodges, we need to trade them in because they're pretty much wore out. But I'm hoping we can get 200,000 miles easy out of these Chevrolets because they're just much tougher. They've got a true truck chassis under them, and they're just so far the maintenance is just nothing compared to what it has been on those 6-cylinders.
These camera systems, the same camera system you had?
Same camera systems, and what I'm impressed with on that, we're not having any trouble with the camera system. And one way where I save money on these camera systems is we go through WatchGuard to get these camera systems, and these new systems that we put in there have 0 moving parts. It's all computerized. And so I did not get the maintenance agreement that they want to put on there, which is about $4,000 a year. And so I probably already paid for half of those by not getting that, and we haven't had 1 ounce of trouble out of those camera systems. So because I didn't see the need, because now if one goes out and have to replace, it's going to be cheaper to replace it than it is to pay $4,000 a year for a maintenance agreement.
Why does the quantity say 1 on this watch guard? That's what threw me off.
Well, we replaced them on the car last year, but our spare car that we have, the one we use the most, the best one, it don't have one, and it gets used quite a bit, so I was wanting a new camera system for it only. So when
But it says camera system for 4 vehicles totaling $5,000.
Okay, no, that was, I'm sorry, that was, no, I'm sorry, that was my fault. No, just one vehicle.
Okay, which
I'm
matches
sorry.
to the invoice, which
Yeah,
says
actually.
quantity of 1. So to equip a truck with that full deal is $5,000 bucks.
But this is the last one. We won't need one next year. So we'll hopefully reduce our budget $5,000 more next year.
This will give you a full set of cameras,
Give me full set.
and those things will last many years.
They have. We've had them for what, 4 to 6 years now? I think 4 years maybe. We started, no, a little longer than that, hadn't it?
And what
we
all
replaced them all.
does this
so-
mount in your? Where does it mount? That camera mount?
Well, with these cameras, we've got a front and rear mount because they do both. They do the back seats. We've got a camera that gets that videos the.
Is it on the
moves over
outside of the car, or is it on the mirror?
No, it's up in the front, but we've pretty much got a whole 360 view of these new cameras. So,
Okay.
yeah, they're really nice.
And then there's a full set of vinyls that'll cover these 4 new cars.
Yes, sir.
And where did that 15,000 budget request savings come from?
We didn't have to replace all 4 cameras in the cars.
Okay. What about your step pay? How's it working these days?
It's worked really good. It's done exactly. It's helped me keep our health. Of course, you're going to lose a few every once in a while. That's just every office or department does, but our turnover rate as far as on the patrolman side is low, so it's really good.
I mean, in past years, you've come kind of concerned. You're not too concerned right
I'm
now?
not, yeah, what we do now is we have to actually, college out here don't have the courses anymore. We still probably don't pay quite enough to get most people to want to move into here, but that's okay, because we've got people internal that we can send to school, and that's what we've had to do, and that's just not many that we have to do that with, so it's working out good. So the pay's keeping people here, and that's what I wanted. But yes, it's working good.
How many, tell us about your foreign prisoners, your federal or out-of-town prisoners.
Yeah, I'm not sure what we've got this morning. I have to look, but they've actually been consistent. And I'm about to let you guys, if we'd have had it ready, I'd have brought it this morning. I believe it's Collin County has just contacted us and said they want us to hold 20. Now we can hold them, and that's going to be good for us, but the only thing is we can only hold them as long as we're not full in the jail and we can get the courts to move them through. Right now, there's no pleas being made. It's hard to move these people through. We still have room. We can hold 20, but if we start filling up, we'll have to send them back. But yeah, actually, we're working on a contract right now to help Collin County out, and they said they want us to hold 20.
Are you having to limit your numbers over there with COVID, or just manage it?
Yeah, what we're doing is we're watching who we're actually letting in the jail. It depends on what the offense is, and most offenses we're allowing in, but we're getting them out as quick as we can, just through bonding them out, or setting a PR bond for them if the offense is not bad, unless they're repeat offenders. If they're repeat offenders, then we hold them. It's working pretty good. We've had to limit the intake a little bit because of this COVID. But what we're doing, I was talking to Barbara about it earlier, when I was talking to her about and then we'll talk about this in just a minute, but this is actually not a budget item we'll take out. This is out of the commissary budget. So, but what we're doing is we're kind of segregating the inmates. The ones that we know probably won't get out for a little bit until the court system start running again, and our federal inmates we're putting in pods by themselves, and we're not moving new people through. We've got a pod closer to the front that when new people come in, they can't get out right away. We move them through there. That way, if a COVID case did come in, we've only got that one pod to deal with and not the whole group. So it's worked out good. Like right now, I've only got one employee off on suspicion, and we think that when the test come back, it'll be negative because it's a sore throat. We just think he's got an infection there, but just to be safe, he's off. Other than that, no inmates, no COVID in the jail whatsoever.
Amazing.
So it's staying pretty clean.
Will they test those that if we get those from Collin County, will they test them before they come in?
They are guaranteeing us they don't have it and that they've already are set and watched, but we will double check. And I don't know as far as testing them. I don't know, Jimmy, but I can find out before we bring them. If that's a concern with you guys, I can certainly before we let them come in.
That seems like a small price to pay because they've got access to those quick tests.
We can do that. We can tell them they're going to have to test them before we bring them in. That'll be a condition.
Yeah, I think that'd be a good deal.
I just hadn't got that far yet because we hadn't signed a contract yet.
Yeah.
They contacted us and asked us if we could hold them, and we said for now, while we got the room with them. So,
without going into any details, you got any litigation concerning you at this point?
not that's any concern. We had a guy that we put in prison here probably been over 2 years ago. He's been in prison for a while. He filed a lawsuit.
That's the only one I know about, isn't it?
But we're looking for it to be dropped pretty quick.
Really?
There's I mean, he had a grievance, like they all do. They have a way that we can do a grievances here. He never even filed a grievance and said anything was wrong. It's just these guys, they get in prison and realize, and this guy shot his wife twice in the back trying to kill her. They just get in prison and realize they're going to be there for most of their life and start getting mad at the people that was part, they put themselves in there, but of course we take part of helping do that.
Robert Davis represent us on that?
Yes, sir.
So that's not a concern?
No.
Good,
No.
all right.
In fact, this kind of thing happens from time to time. These people in prison will do that. It's actually not uncommon.
Your feeding company or food company that provides your meals, that's still the same company?
Still doing good.
Good.
Yeah, they're still keep.
It's been how many years now?
Oh my gosh.
4, 5?
Oh no, it's been more than that. It's been, with this company we've got now, but it's been closer to 8 years, or close to 7 years, 7 or 8 years, yeah.
So, do you go out for bids on that, or how does that work?
Yes, ma'am. I'll have to look to see what the contract ends. And I think they go either 5 or 6 years. I'll have to look at it. But yeah, we will put it up.
So you already know that once you put that in.
Yeah, they've really done us a good job, and our commissary account's looking good. We're getting a lot. In fact, that brings me to my next deal. Our camera system in our jail is old and outdated. We've got a VCR that's borrowed.
Do we
right
have
now.
a copy of that?
Yeah, sure.
No, do we have a copy in our packet?
I don't think so, because this is not a...
Why don't you keep it and just read it to?
This is not out, it comes out of the taxpayer's budget. This right here, we can take this out of what the inmates spend on commissary. So this has nothing to do with our tax money. This is going to be completely paid out of commissary. And our camera system, we've had a lot of trouble. It's old. We got it when I first come into office, and it's time to replace it. And we do have the money in commissary. I talked to Barbara about it, and I was trying to...
Camera system, the whole camera system that covers the whole jail?
It's...
The dentist services?
Yeah, yes, sir.
How many cameras is that?
Oh my gosh, I'd have to count them. There's quite a few. We've got I think 5 or 6.
Are you going to finance it, or how do you?
No, we got the money to pay for it. Yeah, we got the money in commissary to pay for it.
Read the details.
Replacement of all the DVRs inside the jail. It's a new higher definition, the coax capable of supporting up to 5 megapixels. It's high definition cameras. These cameras are about a half megapixel, but will function well with these DVRs. And the new DVRs are going to put in.
The new cameras are half megapixel?
The new ones will be. Yeah. The ones we got now are.
That doesn't seem like much. Half megapixel?
But I think that's just for the camera itself. It's not DVR. Yeah, but the video quality will improve. Let me see here. Yeah, this is just about desktops. What I'm wanting is to replace, okay, we got 5 DVRs in the main pod with 4 16-channel DVRs and 2 8-channel. This will allow all the current audio channels to continue to be recorded, replace both current DVRs with the west pod and with 2 16-channel DVRs, replace both front 2 megapixel IP cameras with 5 megapixel. I'm sorry, the ones we got now 2 megapixel. We're going to replace them with 5.
Okay.
Yeah. High definition coax cameras. We're wanting to install a 72-inch equipment rack in phone to house all DVRs, install a large UPS to support these units. Now, some of this stuff, I have no idea. This is what Dennis is putting in. I don't know what some of this stuff is that entails all of this. We're going to replace the Cat5 wiring in all the locations, running from the front room, the main pod, with Cat6. The jail will provide most of the Cat6 wire and laborers to help install it. So we're going to use, what that means, we're going to use inmates to help them disable the cost to roll some of this in, because this is all for the inmates, it's for the jail. We're going to replace the 32 camera DVR that supports 27 cameras in the chaseways with 2 16 camera DVRs, and then install high definition over a network. Video over Cat6 to get camera video DVRs and return DVRs to monitors. Total cost is $41,450, but we've got the money for it. So this is not budget money.
You saved up that much in your commissary account?
Oh yeah.
Been a good year.
Yeah, we've had a good.
After everything last year, I've been watching it jump up there.
Yeah, and I tell you, one way we saved money, one of our bowlers, and man, these guys do a good job. They do this all the time. It was getting where the bowler wouldn't light, so the company that services the bowlers come out was wanting to replace the whole lighting system under the whole fire unit is going to be over $6,000. And usually we'll pull all that out of commissary because that is for the jail. This is why we've got money in commissary. In Hall, we had that does our maintenance back in the jail. Went and got an igniter and put it in himself for just a few dollars, and it's working perfect. And so, yeah, saved us $6,000. We spent probably $20 and didn't. So,
Were they scamming you? What was the deal?
well, I don't. It could be. I mean, what it is, I think these big companies that service these, if something goes out, I just need the whole thing. They just want to replace the whole unit. And all he did was put it in. Oh, it's that little, not an igniter, but I think the igniter was one of them. But the thing that keeps the pipe light from going out, thermocouple, whatever it is. Yeah, he just replaced that. I mean, it was less, $20 less. It was just a few dollars compared to, and yeah, and so of course the company was a little aggravated. They said, well, we've done ordered this whole thing. We told them, well, we're sorry. I mean, we fixed it for $20. He's going to charge us $6,000. And yeah, that's been a month ago. It's been working for a month, just perfect. So
I don't want to hear a big boom over there.
no.
All right.
Judge, may I have a couple of questions?
Sure.
Sheriff, on your new cars, it says $162,000. This includes installment. What does that mean?
that's just installing all the cameras and stuff. They do it there. They install everything. They have the graphics done.
Freedom installs all that? Freedom Chevrolet?
Yeah. Well, they have somebody that does it, that contracts out to them. So now when we get our cars, they're ready.
You go pick it up and it's
We'll
done.
pick it up. We're ready to use it. Ready to go.
Where are they out of? Dallas? Yeah.
Yeah, they're in Dallas. But yeah, it's because before was taking them to Faith, which Faith did an excellent job. Was taking them to Faith to get them outfitted with the cameras and the radios, and then we had to take them somewhere else to get the straps put on. And now, yeah, it's all in one spot. We order them, we get them ready to go.
And this is through that cooperative, the one you used last year?
Yes, ma'am.
So that's already been did and all that stuff's already done?
Yeah, yes.
Okay, one thing I'm going to call to the Commissioner's attention, if y'all will remember, with regard to the discussions we had about the maintenance barn and $35 per hour, or whatever that was that y'all were paying, the sheriff was paying a portion of that. The sheriff's budget has not allowed that. We took let me back up a minute. We took $15,000 out of his line item for auto expense and put it in contingency, the same way we do with y'all's was just a lesser amount. Well, he has needed those funds in order to operate. So for next year's budget, there's not going to be any difference in the total, but we're going to take that out of contingency and put it back into his auto expense because he needs it. And historically, he's used $27,000 last year and $24,000 the year before. So for us to reduce that by $15,000, just put that in the hole. So I just need to bring that to you.
Where was that $35 an hour going before? Out of that same account? In other words,
It's coming out of that account and going into the maintenance fund. But I don't think that they were charging every time, because if they had been, it wouldn't be like this.
so we're needing some new money, bottom line.
Well, no, we don't, we may need new money over the maintenance fund, but if the sheriff's budget remains just as it has been, then it'll be fine.
How much, do you have any idea how much the sheriff was contributing to the maintenance fund?
It was close to that $15,000, is what we had budgeted. I don't know if that was an actual amount.
I
Yeah.
thought it was 18.
Was it 18? Is that what was budgeted? But in order for his budget to be whole, he needs that money back in there. In fact, we're going to have to do that for this year.
Well, it sounds like there's some new money there then. If we took away that expense, put it back in contingency, now we need to draw it back.
Well, it was in his contingency budget, not in the general county. So.
Oh, his contingency
His
budget,
contingency,
not the county's.
general county.
Okay.
Yeah. We just put it there, because we did the same thing with the commission,
It's
to see
15.
how it worked out.
Gotcha. Okay. You're not pulling it out of the county contingency
Right,
fund. I
right.
follow
He
you. All
needs it
right.
back in there. So we'll do that.
And it's in the
15,
budget.
15.
Start there.
And the only reason we need him now is because of repairs on these Tahoes. We had
Every day.
Tahoes in there, we wouldn't even be needing this. I mean, so, yeah, these Tahoes have really been just some good vehicles.
Because it was car, Cherokee, whatever they are, they're Durangos, but they're just, like you said, they're falling apart.
Yeah, they'd be, I mean, they're good for like a regular citizen to drive to buy them. I mean, they're good cars, but now, we don't drive them like regular cars.
Right.
And these Tahoes are made like a truck, and they're tough.
I have one more question, Sheriff.
Yes, ma'am.
In your commissary account, we've got $41,000 budgeted for building repairs, and I think that includes the $26,000 that we just did for the AC system. So right now, it looks like we're going to have some money left over. Do you think that that's going to be the case?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
I think so, yeah, 'cause we'll put more in, I bet right at budget, before the new budget takes place, we'll put
How much of the new cameras that you need? What was the total amount?
41,500, I'm sorry, 21, you can have this number, because I have 41,450.
But this is something we need to order now.
Yeah, I was gonna try to wait till budget time, but since this don't come out of our budget, and we're having problems around from them, it's really needed now. These camera systems are so important, because they can even be used to make sure we did accidentally slip a code one in, to make sure they're trying to affect each other on purpose, just get out of jail, things like that. We use these cameras for, they're just a lifetime for sure.
So we'll have a budget amendment for this, for y'all to consider on Monday. Okay.
On Monday?
He said he needs to get it now because when he's got his failing. Because this is not out of next year's budget, right?
That's why, do I need to add something to the agenda?
Well, then you got budget amendments.
Okay, it'll just be unfold, with nothing separate we have to approve.
Yeah, but remember now, this is not coming out of the taxpayer, this is commissary.
From his commissary account,
Yeah.
his budget, they
Yeah.
have to take action.
All
Right.
All right.
And I wouldn't be here in case y'all need me for that, but that's why I want to talk to you now, because I can't. The city's asked me to, I believe I'm going to sit in on some interviews with some of the new applicants they've got, the police chief, so I'll probably be over there helping them out. So Chris Baker will probably be here, but that's just in case you have any questions, I want to bring it up today. But I just want to bring it up too, just let you know that this is not That's why I didn't put it on this, because this is not taxpayers' money I'm spending on that. That's complete commissary, so totally different.
Is that camera system, though, going to deplete your commissary fund and leave you unable to pay for some of the other things you've been doing?
I don't believe so. We'll have to go back and look how much we got, but I don't believe so, because, like I said, probably before this budget year's up, we'll probably end up putting another 20 grand in there. And I think it's going to, I think we've got
Okay.
probably 60 to 70,000 there now. So it'll leave us.
All right. Any other questions? I don't have any.
No, I think that we should consider, automobiles go 200,000 now. It used to have got 50,000 or 100,000. Somewhere down the line, we should replace, as I sort of knew before. I think we should try to reduce, give them 4 years, maybe get it to
I agree, Al. Now that we're getting these Tahoes, and we can get Tahoes in there, I think we can do that. But we can't do it with these Dodges. They're falling apart with these Durangos. But yeah, I think when we get these Tahoes all in there, yes, sir. I think we can do it. I really do.
2 or 3 more years.
I think we can. I'm looking to reduce how many cars we get when we get all the Tahoes, when we get these cars replaced with Tahoes. I think we can do it.
What is a full fleet? How many?
Oh my gosh, I have to count.
Well, full fleet of Tahoes, if you had all the Durangos replaced, what do you consider that? 20?
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, well, just on patrol, 16. But yeah, if you look at, I'd need to get them, if we can get them in CID, man, them things would last probably 15 years in CID. But yeah, 20 would do it. Yeah.
Anything else?
Sounds good, Tim?
Are you just sitting in, or are you just sitting in on it, or are you considering it?
I don't know yet. But anyway,
I think it's a good one.
y'all done with me?
I think so. Thank you.
Thank you, Tim.
We'll just discuss things you're doing over there. I'm sorry for things you're not doing over there. Hey, I do want to add too, it took me a little bit to get, because anytime you make a change, it's hard to get used to it. But Barbara's really doing good working with us. Anything I need, she's gave me her personal number so I can call her. So I just want to say thank you, Barbara. You're doing a good job. Thank you for working with us.
Thank you, Tim.
Thank you.
They're doing a good job. Doing a good job. Doing a good job.
And we'll get back to getting y'all's roads, pick them up as soon as we get fully staffed again. We got a few short in the jail. Then 1 or 2 go, and we have 1 or 2 to quit. We're about to get staffed again. We're back on our roads again, start from trash and stuff. And potholes are coming.
Thank you, Tim.
Thank you.
Ready? Let's come back and look at the details on your computer's request. Let's just start with your main page there, page 10.
So on page 10, I've kept everything the same, minus what I'm asking for on the computer expense line. So my district clerk salary, my office deputy salary, my part-time salary, all those line items I'm asking to be kept the same. If you look on travel and seminars, I've kept that the same, but if the court wants to make, some kind of reduction, then there's a little bit of room right there if they'd like to. As far as my budget, I've stayed well within my budget, I think, for this year. Travel and expense, if I've had any travel to being with COVID this year, we've been kind of limited to what kind of conferences or training that we've had, so I'm not sure if next year those are going to remain the same or actually increase to play some catch-up. So, but some of the conferences that I went to, I was able to actually obtain some grants and get some or most of the money back and reapply to my travel and seminar budget line. So,
What is that R&M reimbursement?
so our office collects records management fees, and so for part-time, I think what we did last year is I had 4 full-time employees. We reduced it to 3 full-time and a part-time, and that R&M reimbursement, that's just used to add some additional hours for the part-time worker. So we have the part-time budget of the $16,674, and then that $3,000 is carried over for some of the fees that my office collects, and that's used to pay some additional hours for the part-time, for my part-time employee. Does that sound about right, Walter? Is that kind of what you're saying?
Well, he takes that money in and it goes in a separate fund. About $3,000 goes into fund 044, and then we pay it out of there into his fund to offset the cost, a portion of the cost of his part-time salary.
Okay, let's talk about your computer situation, and then I want to talk about your physical location over there, and you need to get that.
So the computer situation, I'm frugal, as you can see in my budget. I've stayed within my budget. However, I'm trying to look towards the future, and we haven't been able to hold any jury trials as of yet because of COVID-19 and also because of the OCA, the Office of Court Administration. There have been some counties, neighboring counties, I think Bowie County, I think Marion County has held some sample trials to where they pull a jury from another location, let's say a high school gymnasium or a civic center. And in our case, we'd probably use the civic center. For me to be able to do so, I have to have some equipment to do that, including some computer equipment and a printer. I can't, right now we have desktop computers, so I can't feasibly disconnect all that, take that up to the civic center, and then plug it in and then unplug it and bring it back. So what I've asked for is just a minimum of what I think that I'm going to need. If that's the case, that we have to pull a jury from another place beside where we're pulling it now. That's for 2 laptop computers and 1 printer. And so K-Bro, I've had him, let's see if I've got it here. He actually priced out with two laptop computers that are big enough to hold the hardware that it's going to need, or that we're going to need. So they priced 2 computers at $2,286. That's 2 laptop computers. And then 1 printer that's at least going to be fast enough to be what we need. And I've talked to the Civic Center, about a month ago, about things that I might be needing in the future. And I believe that they're going to let me use their coffee machine if I need to. I can bring some paper up there, so that's not going to be an expense that I need. But mainly just those 2 computers and a printer.
You gonna lug a printer that big?
Well, it's going to be just our office, the one that's in our office, just one that stands about this tall.
You tote that with you to the Civic Center?
I mean, I could find a card, or I could find.
How much paper are you gonna run through this thing?
How much paper?
Yeah.
Well, we have two murder trials that I know of coming up, and we also have civil trials that are waiting. And so there's a lot of times that we have to print out multiple pieces of paper and things like that. Maybe a ream of paper and something.
Well, I'm not questioning the cost, but I'm just looking at the size of that printer.
It's doable. It's not. It's something that I can actually carry. Put in my truck and then take it to the city.
I'm just amazed you need that much printing capacity as opposed to a little laser printer that's that big.
Things tend to flow pretty quickly through the court system, so I'm trying to get something that I know is fast enough and that'll keep up.
What would be your signal that it's time to buy these products here?
the OCA and I guess the conditions of what's going on. Right now, I don't foresee a jury trial anytime before the new year, but I mean, that could all change.
Really? For the new calendar year?
Right.
Golly, these guys are being...
And so that's why I'm not trying to actually get it, within my budget right now. This is something that I'll probably need after October if I need it at all. And if I need it, then the OCA's going to release some information, and that's going to be between the judges and the attorneys. And I guess they'll notify me that, hey, we need to pull a jury, and at that point, that's
Do you have to rely on their internet up there, or is this a standalone system?
They've got internet, so we can tap in, I guess, their Wi-Fi code, and then...
That looks reasonable to me. Let's talk about your physical space over there and what you're feeling these days.
I mean, I think we're fine. As far as, we've got the glass partition, we've got, that's a good security measure. And Brown's did an excellent job. The door turned out great, the glass turned out great. I mean, right now we're fine, so.
I haven't talked to David about his expansion plans there. And so I don't know if his plans include any of Judy Cook's old space, but as far as you can tell, for the foreseeable future, you don't need any of that space?
We're fine. I mean, and if David were to move into that one space, maybe I could utilize some of his old office space for records.
Well, he may have to, I don't know, he may have to split people.
Right, and we've been talking, so we're in good communication with each other as far as what our needs and what our wants are. And right now, it's about our needs. And so right now, I mean, my space is adequate. I've got all the rolling filing cabinets there. I've got everything I need. I mean,
Okay.
I'm happy.
So when we talk about dreams with David Colley, we can assume that all that Judy Cook space is available if he needed it.
The only part that I'm using at this current point is there's a little break room that, and I'm sure David's fine with me, using that spot, but there's a little break room that's kind of behind our wall that I've actually had to, we were running out of space in our rolling carts to where we were on the last level of our filing cabinet. So I actually spent about 2 weeks pulling files, boxing them up, and I put those over into that space. But if I had to, then I could figure out another space that, it's a lot of boxes. I mean, I don't know if you've been in there, but it's quite a bit. Two full rolling carts of...
How do you get there? Do you have to come out in the hall and go through? There's no connecting door with you.
Through the big break room, that room, the first room you come into?
Right, so we have to go between the probation department and go through that office. You take a right. If you're coming from probation, take a right. There's a concrete kind of break room or office.
Did you step down in it?
No?
Okay, it's just right there.
If you go into Judy
Between you and that probation.
It's the far south end. Far south end.
Okay. I was thinking that first room you come in, if you come out of that big break room with the ovens in it and everything, that room that you come out, I thought that was what you were talking about.
No, this
It's a totally different room.
If you walk in front of the annex, don't go in the first whole office.
Yeah.
The second one, you go in there and then take a left.
Yeah.
And then there's a door with a square room, and that's where I'm keeping those files.
Okay.
Eventually, what I'm wanting to do, and I'm kind of working towards it, and I've done it without any kind of cost, is I've gotten K-Bro to put in some software on my computer and also for the judge's bench, so that way they can kind of look at it. What I'm trying to move to is almost a paperless system if I can eventually do it. And hopefully that's going to save some money and save some time and things like that. So that's something that I'm slowly working into right now with some free software and things like that. So, but right now, I mean, we're full paper. We use paper. Every time a file is brought in, we print paper out. The judge has a file in their hand. So what I'm trying to work for, and I can anticipate this being in the next year, the year after budget, is maybe needing some, having some further needs for equipment and things like that. That way we can actually go paperless. So.
Okay. I don't have anything else. I was just wondering about wondered about your space needs.
Marcus, if we go down to the Civic Center, are we going to need to rent that space?
So that's something that I talked to a Brendan that was there, and at the time for half a day, I think it's $300 and something. But that's fully, I need to check back with him because he was going to check and see if we're able to actually get a reduced rate or something like that. But when we rent a space like that, he's talking about spacing everything out, using his workers, completely cleaning and setting it up, and then when we leave, they take it down, so that's part of their fees. I'm not exactly sure what those fees are going to be or whatever if we do have to do that. So
We could use some of our grant money on that, couldn't we, Barbara?
I think so.
but that's going to be, I mean, if I can't pull a jury here, we're going to have to pull a jury somewhere, and I anticipate it's going to be during the school year. It's not going to be at a high school auditorium, and the only other feasible place is going to be the Civic Center. But they'll set it up and do all the cleaning and do all the work on it. So I'm working on trying to get a reduced rate now from I think it's $365 for the half a day, just to see what they're going to do. But if we have to do, we have to do it. I mean, that's just no other.
I think this will qualify for the grant, Judge, except that the grant ends December 30th. So if we're not going to likely have any jury trials until January, we might be getting one out of it.
And the state hadn't talked about reimbursing you for stuff like this, that a lot of these courts are going to need to do the same thing.
Right. I mean, as far as I'm concerned, if we had to pull a trial, in a month, I can get it done. It's just a matter of I need the equipment and the facilities. And I've got the facilities, I just don't have the equipment. So
I'm just surprised the OCA hadn't said something about, in the COVID environment, giving you additional monies. I'm not surprised. I mean, I'm disappointed that they haven't said that, because there's going to be a lot of these district courts in just as bad a situation as you, not being able to pull juries in their existing facilities.
right. And our court, I mean, we use Courtroom B to pull juries, and usually I'll ask for someone's out about 225, 250. We'll have about 95 to 100 show up. But if you put 100 people in that small jury room B, that's a lot of people. That's shoulder to shoulder, and we just can't do that. But the Civic Center, they can space it out over 6 feet and, accommodate. There are going to be people that are going to refuse to come to jury duty. I mean, but that's,
Once we're back to normal and you can't go back to using Courtroom B, do we need to do any technology upgrades to that Courtroom B with audio, video to get that more functional as a jury selection room?
I mean, I'd say space more than anything, but we can't add more space to it. So we need space. As far
I'm just
as,
thinking about big screen TV or
we
better.
have a TV that they pull in and that they set up for the jury video and things like that. So it's I guess at this point it's wants versus needs, and we've got what we need.
Okay.
Jury room B is outdated as far as the bench and seating areas. The court reporter doesn't have. If you go into a courtroom A, it's all set up to where there's my desk, the judge's bench, the witness desk, and then there's a place for the court reporter. Jury room B is just not set up. I mean, I would like to see that eventually at least remodeled or redone to where it's got some more access space for witnesses and court reporters and things like that. And there are times that we use both rooms at the same time. So,
Well, like we've decided before, I don't think we want to pour a bunch of money into remodel there. I don't think we want to delay plans over there either. I just keep thinking that these ladies back here in these two properties are going to be willing to sell that property.
the only issues I'm seeing is the air conditioning, which they've had some air conditioning issues in that building, and they've had a hard time resolving.
We're going to get those fixed. I'm confident.
And not necessarily my office, but actually we had to use Courtroom A, and there was no air there, and so, and we've had times where I actually pulled a jury, summons the jury, and Courtroom B's air conditioning didn't work. So that's not a very pleasant
Well, we've got a new company, and I'm confident these guys will get it figured out. We've got to. I mean, we have to have new units.
But I'm asking for the minimum of what, I mean, just my needs, and if the court wants to pull the, you know, I think with traveling seminars, I'm asking for what I've asked for last year. I used, actually, 2020, I think it's $1,127. And that's with, is that with reimbursements on the side? So, I mean, I think, you know, if I kept 4,000 in there just in case, not saying I'm going to use it all, but I don't make it a habit to go to things I don't need to go to, so.
Okay, thank you. That's all I have. Commissioners, any comments or questions for Marcus?
No, sounds good.
Thank you. Thank you, Marcus.
Thank you, Marcus.
Okay, Joan, you ready? Good morning. I didn't see any changes here. Is there anything we need to discuss?
Well, like I wrote on here, I'm asking for a 3% increase for my staff for a raise. Last year they did not get a raise. One of the things that I think is important to point out is that the appraisal district each year, last year and this year, have appraised all of my employees' property, who they're all property owners, homeowners. They have across the board gone up 3.5%. They've made some exceptions on dwellings and outbuildings and that sort of thing. However, on land, they refuse to budge. So even though, you know, we've had this pandemic, I have done the figures, and my numbers as far as land records and everything, we've been busy in there. We've not missed one day of being off. We've been working every day. We've been cussed. We've been cussed on the phone.
I didn't mean to do that. I'm sorry.
Okay, all right. Anyway, it's been a very stressful environment, and I believe that, you know, in light of the fact that, I mean, like any piece of property worth $100,000 immediately becomes 103.5. So how do they, with no increase in pay, I have an employee who's single. I mean, how does she pay that additional tax? Because it's not 103. I mean, it's not $3,500. You know, more tax, but it is based on an increase to her. So I'm just asking you, please consider giving my employees a small raise.
Okay. Anybody want to address that? We haven't had our conversation about that.
Okay. All right.
My personal opinion
I'm just asking, and I'm trying to give you maybe some points of reference. My employees are highly skilled employees. We must know the government code, the local government code, the family code, the transportation code, the estate code, criminal code of procedure, Texas rules of practice and remedies, the agricultural code, which is coming up next year, because that'll be year 2021. That's when all the marks and brands will have to be renewed. You know, it's a lot. The transportation code, that's just some of them. We need to know all these parts. They are highly trained and highly skilled. And I have a risk of losing them.
You have an excellent staff, no doubt about it. No doubt about it. And this is a tough year for raise consideration. And I'm not speaking for the court. I just know it's going to be a difficult year to be justifying raises this year. But,
I mean, you know, if you wanted to cut in other areas, you know, I think that would be appropriate, but,
I don't see that you've got a lot of other areas to cut, though.
well, that's true, because a lot of the funds that I use are dedicated funds. My vitals statistic money is only used for vitals training and supplies like birth certificates. My R&M money, records and management, that's pretty much dedicated to certain areas. But I meant just overall as a county,
Yep.
that there might be other areas that we could cut.
All right. Yeah, that's one of the hard ones we face every year. Comments, questions? She's got a pretty straightforward, simple budget here. Most of what she has is payroll related.
I do try to keep down like my supplies. I know I have a large supply budget. I never exceed my budget, ever. I mean, right now I'm at 29% on supplies. And we've had increased expenses because of COVID in this line item as per what I normally spend.
You're in the wrong building, sorry.
All right.
Thank you, Joan. Any questions for Joan here?
I'm good.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Do we need security to escort her out? Security escort the lady in black hair out. No.
Brian, you ready?
With your awareness of fiscal council for the board,
We've met.
Good looking for security to escort her out.
Good. What's going on in y'all's office physically? Are y'all here, staying away? What is going
I have
on?
an officer here every day. Everybody's been going to our outlying counties too. We've been having support. We had a detention hearing last week here. Some detention hearings. We still have kids being detained in detention centers. We have, of course, we had one the other night. He had COVID. That's the news. Used to be, hey, I'm suicidal, and they'll kick them out. Now it's COVID, so we got him tested, but that was another.
Have you had any positive?
No, not yet. He's waiting for his results. He was tested yesterday in Pittsburgh. He was a Morris County kid, but I'm sure the commissioner's not Fort County, so Marion, Morris, Camden, Titus. But that's, we've been having I figure I'm gonna probably go back to full strength when schools say, look, we're going back to school and start having people come back up here. Let them in their office, it's just 5.9. Making everybody wear a mask and a limit of 2 people, a parent and a kid coming in, not the whole family. And day to day, everybody else.
And we got your door video security systems all working the way it's supposed to be?
Everything's working great.
Okay. How are you going to reduce juvenile detention expenses this year?
We're going to put them back. Today at 35, we were supposed to be on about, we went over $620, it's still there. So we haven't done that since then. She added $15,000 because she said we only have one time shot to get money adjusted.
No, we're trying to get them to get us where they need to.
Right.
If we need to, we can.
Right, no, I think, and I'm talking to Christie, right, I talked to Christie, I think our normal budget's 35, and I want to go back to that. It's showing 50 here because of the 15,000, that's the increase, but I think we'll be fine going back to the 35 on
But you hadn't been under 35 in 3 years.
Well, we barely went over. I can't predict.
I just wondered if you saw a trend that was giving you confidence that you could do that.
We got lucky because we had some kids that were going to TJJD right before all this happened. If this would have fallen during the time that the COVID really got hot and everything, they started locking down facilities, we would have sat there, our bill would have been the roof because we would have had to have those kids detained until TJJD, the state, said, okay, we'll allow you to bring your kid in, because every time they get a person in their 5 facility for our kids, when we send kids to the state, they lock it down. So what happens is that kid's sitting in detention, he's ordered to TJJD, but he sits in detention there until they say he can come to the kid. But we got lucky because we had our 2 that we sent right before all this happened. And we had some pretty big cases. They all got disposed of right before this started. So we had to run into that problem. We're having to hold kids' detention to wait for the state to open up their facilities to take them. That's good.
Okay.
The only other kids we've had one has Harrison County Detention. They had one employee come down with COVID, and once that happens, the state gets notified that the detention center has COVID. Anybody coming from that detention center that could be sent to the state, EYCA, call it TJJD now. Everybody stays in that facility until everybody's tested together, which adds days to every detention for every kid. He wasn't going anywhere. He wasn't going to the state. He was just being held until he could go to court. So we've got a bunch of
It just makes me nervous leaving that at 35,000.
Now, before that, we kept it at 25 for long.
conflicts. People get it, yeah.
One year we busted it pretty good, I think it was 2 years.
Oh,
But
yeah.
that was the only other time that it really, yeah.
That was 18. And then you bumped it in 19. You certainly bumped it in 2020. And we're 3/4 of the year or less.
We've used a lot of collective bargaining too, house arrest. We had some cases this year that we got sent home on leg monitors, and that costs $7 a day. So we've been utilizing some of that too in those night cases. That does help some of our detention costs down when we do that.
I mean, if you want to try, if y'all want to try.
Well, I'm not going to talk you into an increase.
What about the tire money right there? You could maybe use maybe about $10,000 of that.
Of what?
Tires at 615331. Is that
What?
you?
What?
I'm on the wrong budget. Okay, I thought maybe it was for that vehicle.
You buying employee tires?
Strike that from the argument. Let me back up.
I didn't see that.
Oh, I went over 2 pages over. Okay. Back on.
In the past, we just kind of adjusted mid to close to even a year for that. I mean, that'd be up to Barbara, but I mean, if Brian's comfortable with maybe something at 45, see what's going to happen, you know, do. I mean, it's just a roller coaster. You don't know what we're going to have when we do next year.
Right. And then we've been down to, like I said, 25,000 was what we had for a long time until it was bumped up 10 because of that 2018 or 47.
It's
not in your control, it's guessing.
No, you're just guessing, right. And,
But it's one we have to have.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, my Morris County, Daytona, theirs was only, what, 15,000 had to stay in detention because of whatever reason, you just can't get them out.
Well, I think everybody here likes to stay within budget and not have to come back and ask for more. But if you okay with 35, I'm okay with 35.
That's when we want to do that, Right, okay.
Because it's there, if you don't spend it, it's there, go back to the.
Would that be okay to do 45?
I was thinking 40, 45, somewhere in there. I just, what I'm seeing in this environment and just the trends that we've established here over the last 3 years, I don't see any. I mean, all I know is my short little board meeting. You got a better feel for this, but let's don't be afraid to add $5,000-$10,000 to this budget if it keeps us from being in a hole. And I know you're not going to spend budget monies recklessly on something like this. You don't have a whole lot of options there as to, oh no, let's don't spend money on that kid, send him home. I mean, it's pretty much going to be, those decisions are made for you. We just need to be prepared for it.
That's right. Yeah, 40 would be fine if that's what the court was going to do. That's one kid, one kid in detention for a whole month, $3,000.
It just takes one of those to blow you out of the water. Let's do 40.
Okay.
And, I appreciate you're aggressively trying to reduce this, but at the same time, I don't think there's anything wrong with, that's still backing off, we may need that 50,000 for the years out. I don't know.
It is what it is.
This one I think is going to be, whatever I think it's going to be,
Yeah, it's crazy.
a lot of counties, I'm thinking, they're going to be low, everything else, off the chart.
Maybe we crank the schools up, keep people out of trouble.
Sometimes we get the other hand, it's out, we'll figure something out. We've had one summer, I mean, honestly,
It's been like 2 summers put together.
2 summers put together. And thank goodness it's coming to the end, sit there thinking about it, and start it up, it's all figured out. Let's get it, let that happen.
All right, sounds good. You don't get no tire money. I use some tire money, man. It's not going to happen. I'm against tire money. It's not going to happen.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank y'all.
Christy, while we've got you here, have y'all had discussions about David Colley's office and anything you can enlighten us on there?
50,000 is what the judge has been
50 additional towards what you're already doing?
Right. Well, that's new money. They have a $3,000 budget. That 50 is to be brand new.
All brand new money.
That whole 50 will go toward whatever he wants to do with it, but that's all this is what we have. The Judge Mason's going to tell me much about that.
He did. I just wondered if y'all had some other conversations since I've talked to him about. Did he present to you all?
He came over, we have another workshop next Wednesday after court, but he did come and talk to Judge Mason one-on-one the other day. And I thought he got to know of that discussion also.
Okay. All right. Thank you. Thank you.
Imagine this border. Yeah, don't do it. Trying to see if you learn to grade.
You want me to see if I can get the district judges to come over?
I text Ken Wilson to let him know that we're going to get responsible.
I'm sorry, I have to ask this. We have not approved that increase to the juvenile probation budget?
We have.
Okay, well, I thought somebody said something that we haven't done it yet.
We did that, and I asked him to give us an estimate for the rest, all the way through September.
Yeah.
And I'm very pleased with how he's managed to hold that down. I don't know how you go from spending money like he was to not spending any more, like he said.
It's the luck of the draw. It's not a management deal.
Well, that's what I thought. So,
I mean, you constantly are looking for the cheapest place to place these kids, and if you can, great, you save some money. There's some free facilities, and then there's some that are 200 plus a day. And it's just a roll the dice.
I think your recommendation to increase that to 40,000 is a good one. I'm not
Well,
sure that even.
I don't see any trends that are telling me there's going to be less detention needs next year. I'll be pleased if we can bring it in under 40.
Yeah.
What scared me about it is these kids have been cooped up all this time at home and stuff like that. When they get back out, are they going to go totally crazy? And then we're going to have a bunch of them. That's what scares me.
Well, the thing is, these are relatively small numbers of kids. You know, this isn't like the jail population we've got over here. I mean, you can blow your budget with 3 or 4 kids. One might sit there for 3 months in detention, you know, and cost you $5,000 a month. It's very expensive, and some of these kids, you don't have it. It's not like, well, let's just let him go home and save that budget money. Yeah, I mean, these are sex offenders and assaults and some serious stuff. Hey. This says district judges.
Just trying to call Ken, get out there. It's all there.
Hey, Brian, good morning. Y'all coming over to budget meetings today? Well, we're a little ahead of schedule. I was going to see if you all were ready and wanted to come now before our 10:30 meeting, maintenance bar, 11. If you want to stick with the 11, that's fine. Okay, they're going to come on. While we're waiting on them, I did talk to the city manager this morning, and I've asked him to give us a 2-year extension on the current contract. I don't know if he will, but it doesn't hurt to ask before we renew. And he suggested an increase amount, and I said I suggested 0. Now we'll see what happens. I'm sure he'll come back with some kind of an increase, but I think he'll be agreeable to a 2-year extension, which will, at least delay, and there's no plans of a third station at this time. I mean, they're always talking about the future, but that's not in the cards right now.
There's one there, and the other one just stepped out, so he'll be back in a second.
He's on the phone.
Normally I come up and shake hands with you, but that's not.
We'll just salute.
When do you think you'll have your first jury trial?
I don't think it's going to be till the first of the year.
The first of the calendar year?
I don't know for sure, maybe.
That's what Marcus said. I didn't believe him.
Maybe November, but the commission like September 1st, and we had a meeting with the regional judge last week, and he said he thought they were going to push it in November, but they haven't been. Unless we decide to be a test case, we can't really be because numbers here are so high. So, if you have a test case, you have to.
Well, tell me about that. The numbers here are so high. The cumulative numbers, the daily numbers, what do we judge?
Just had a spot at the time that they were at. And, they might still approve it, but right now we have to have a plan.
Well, I agree. We need to see some downward movement, but
And then we give them a plan for how we can do it and where we can have it, because we'll have to figure out this where everybody out for the jury panel.
well, that's what we were talking about. Marcus going to the Civic Center, pulling a jury.
We talked about that. But right now, everything is just so.
What do you do with your jury? Make them sit there with a mask on day long?
We just want to, we're not in a hurry to try to make it good. We need to pick up prison right now. So we're just taking it day by day, week by week.
Have you got pent-up demand for some jury trials?
I'm sorry, what?
Have you got some pent-up demand for jury trials?
Actual time. Do you have any of those names?
Marion County is going to want to start doing some. I mean, they're ready. And I think what the situation is.
Y'all sit down.
While we're just kind of kicking this thing around. Y'all remember what the old courtroom used to look like, where we are right now, what it used to look like? Great big room, big.
Over there.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
It was huge.
High ceiling, high ceiling.
For all the other counties, this is just Boston's opinion. But in these other counties, like Kemp County, Jamersville, Marion County, we've got this huge courtroom. And so it would be a lot easier, I think, if we can accommodate the situation to select a jury there, like in Marion County, they're talking about going to the school auditorium, spread everybody out there, we can do that. And then when we get ready to have a trial, we can spread the material all around another big courtroom and get it done where we're doing social distancing. So that's kind of what their game plan is. Camp County, you got to do the same thing, a big courtroom, if they get the acoustics right, and they get to the pen. So, sooner or later, the problem is Titus County, we got, a really good working courtroom, it's little. I mean, it's worth going to the jury. We can't put them all in the courtroom big. So, Jigsaw's here, we're trying to think about it, come up with something that'll work. We talked about, we'll go get a civic center, rent that room, get all the boys in there, and then have that trial. So,
We've been working on it. That's why Marcus went up there, so we've been trying to figure out what to do. But we are happy we're having board again. I did Zoom here again this week, so we're at least getting to operate.
What if we use Kent County's courtroom?
See,
Do we work a deal over there? Or we have to deal with too much jury?
I'm sure we could even, I don't think we could pick a jury in Kent County. We could have the prosecuting spread them out.
Yeah. They might have to be in the balcony and everywhere.
Maybe spread them out enough.
like 20 at a time. We've been kicking stuff around, but Marion County, they want to get it. But then again, Marion County's got a lot of others.
Yeah.
But then even the state won't allow us to do any until we can get them a definite plan of how we're going to do it. And that's what we're having trouble working.
Would you pull that mic down there, kind of split the distance in between you? There you go.
I didn't go think.
Yes, sir. You're live, CNN. Fox News.
Just throw one more thing out. Sooner or later, everybody's got opinions once again. At some point, we're going to go back and accept this is the reality. We got to deal with it. And that's about to do something. We can't do it. It's all indefinite. So, just take risk or whatever it does. Any other questions, just in the general nature?
Okay, sorry, I'm flipping to your pages here. Okay, who wants to start?
Well, we're both going to start with teaching on these particular topics. What do y'all want to do with this?
I guess the translator issue, might as well bring that up. I will bring it up because every expense coming down except that's going up.
All right. Well,
And we're not smart enough about it.
Okay. I'm going to give you my 2 cents and this also. Okay. Y'all understand we have the highest Spanish population in Titus County. Okay, if you look at our criminal documents that we have in our court, a large percentage of those folks are Spanish. Okay? With regard to the translator, we're also looking just stop there and I don't do just making them, almost, we're just playing sometimes. And with the situation with translators, Mr. Freeman, if you look at 2019, if you look at year-to-date 2020, we haven't even had reports in this report for several months. If we were having a report, you would see substantially more cost in regard to the translator. Like, for instance, if you look at, we're at $62,453, and when we start having trials, you're going to have a translator for conditions that are far just the reality, I think. Food that folks are is going to be over there. And what Credo also does that you don't see, I recall recently, some of these lawyers will have their clients in jail. Well, they got to go down there and translate the jail law. Our attorneys can't understand what they're saying. And they can't expect to have a law enforcement officer go down there and translate between, the defendant and the attorney. And so he does that too. That's it.
Does he document that?
I'm sorry.
Does he document that? If he's down there to jail, does he document he's at the jail?
No, except I know for a fact, I was talking to lawyers and they were arranged with him to schedule time to go down there and meet with the clients and take whatever precautions they need.
As far as the courts, March 18th, you got Governor Abbott has shut down quite a bit of the courts and stuff.
We have.
And
now, all right, that's what you touched on, and let me kind of tell you what's happening. We schedule a court. We order Kent County, and we show up, and Mr. Krieger scheduled me as a translator. Well, he takes time out of his calendar to be there because we had scheduled court. He didn't schedule anything else because he's there for jury selection, and we try a case which is Spanish-speaking defendant or Spanish-speaking and civil case for Spanish-speaking witnesses. He has got the schedule to be there. And so once he scheduled Kent County, Titus County, occasionally Morris County, and he's not working anywhere else.
so he's there at all.
So if we schedule him, he's got to get paid.
So he's there.
I'm sorry, I'm not trying to fix y'all
Okay.
here, but I specifically remember going to Kent County on more than one occasion. We show up, we're into a trial, and for some reason, the citation, whatever, case settles, he's already marked out those days for trial. So, is that kind of...
So he gets paid without doing anything, essentially, when we cancel him, because you pay for what you schedule him.
We schedule him, yes, because he's not going to be where else, he's going to be with us. And maybe he would have said time over in Smith County or some other location.
So he's at Smith County at 4 hours for, say, one time.
I'm just saying.
Yeah, what I'm saying. Yeah, I'm just using an example too. Like he's in Morris County, they charge him for half a day, and he's over here for a full day. How does that work?
I'm sorry, I don't.
Well, I've been looking into it too, and I've got some where he's been paid, and he's been in Morris County and Titus County at the same time, and he's got it paid for a day and a half. And to me, and we got some like June 6th, 7th, and 8th, or 7th, 8th, and 9th that we didn't have court scheduled, and he charged us $900 because it said scheduled. I just don't understand if they called and said it's not scheduled, it's off. How do we still pay him if he's don't even come to Titus County?
Because he's not going anywhere else.
Well, if we don't have court and it's canceled, he still paid?
Yes, because he's not going somewhere else to work. Because the schedule is being another county.
But I'm saying if you give him a week ahead of time saying he's not going to have court that week,
then he doesn't come.
Well, he still charges for it, though.
Well, I don't know. I'm not aware of it.
Yeah, well, like I said, I've been investigating. I've been talking to the guy, chief mechanic over at Pittsburgh, and we've got, he's scheduled here at 8th, 9th, and 10th, and then he's scheduled somewhere else, but there's no travel time on it. And
If he doesn't have, he doesn't charge for travel, that's,
well, like I said, I just have I just have a discrepancy with if he's at home and we're paying him $900. You know, that's $2,700 for 3 days. And I don't, you know, he's called enough ample time the week before that they're not having court, and I just don't see that we should pay him. We don't have a contract with him.
no, you don't.
Huh?
Would that be something you all like to consider?
Well, I would like
We don't
to.
have anything written with him?
No. And, you know, it's different from county to county.
Okay, he was here before I started doing this job. Judge White,
You want some of this?
Sure, I didn't.
Yeah, I said,
What about, is he the only translator out of that line item that y'all use? And the only translator y'all need is Spanish? Mainly unless something crazy happens, but, okay, he's the main one. And so the $85,000 is just for him in Titus County for next year.
Unless for some reason he couldn't be here, we have to do.
Yeah, but it's our Titus County part, for him working in Titus County. Why can't we just hire our own full-time interpreter here, have him just for us?
But that's what we're trying to do.
Okay.
Last year, when we came before y'all, we tried to put him on as an employer, an employee, and try to come to some board and can't come to some board, but then Morris County, we can get him to do.
So,
go through.
what kind of credentials does he have? What kind of degree does he have?
He's the best. He's the best of the best.
But is he a lawyer or something?
No.
He's got some kind of bachelor's degree and he has to get certified to translate?
And he is the best service. And as an example, once I was training, he was not available and he was a translator. That translator did not actually translate. Thankfully, it was a family law case and not a criminal law case. If somebody stand up and say, he's not saying what she just said and what that person was asked. And so I had to stop the proceeding, I had to talk to him, and once I figured out, yes, he didn't mess up. Some people doesn't do that. And is that helping you with criminal case or felony criminal case? Yes. It can be committed that over time. So if it's these things, we are required by law to have
Yeah. So what if, there's 3 counties? If we all agreed to hire him full-time, what do you think his salary would be?
This is going to be between, what we had down here was between him and Titus. And how we figured it out was what he told us he requested for a salary plus benefits, and we split it for us share between Titus and him. And that's how we came up with the figure.
would he go to Morris County then too?
You guys know how you will request it, but more time you have to pay him separately.
They use somebody else? They have someone. If we put an ad out wanting a job application for somebody to come do this translating job, would we find anybody? Is there anybody else out there that does this that would be interested, maybe just full-time? Titus County would hire our own person full-time, give them an office, and they're here every time we need them. What do you think? Is that a possibility?
I just like to have accountability. Court's been canceled. He's scheduled,
Saves
but
money too.
if he's not even coming from Tyler, I can't see spending $900, for a full day. And why is he charging $450 or something cheaper? Because we've got to cut back this year, and this is, I just don't see any kind of accountability. He could say he could show up, but I'd like to see him put something down that he was here, court docket, and what he done. And then if he has to go to Morris County, that's the same, or Tyler Camp County, that's the deal. I just don't see just writing a man a check and say, I was, it was scheduled, but I didn't show up. I just can't. That's just like me going to saying, well, I see you every court day and not even show up for work every day. But I've got a job to do too, and I just like to see more accountability of what he's doing.
And that's part of what we look at in that you either make an employee or being under contract with specific requirements.
What would contract say? Regardless of court's canceled or whatever, every time the court's scheduled, you're getting paid. That's probably what it'd say, or would say only if you're working. Whatever we'd want.
There will be a negotiation between.
Yeah, and if somebody didn't want to do that, yeah. Yeah, that somebody would do it. So just to get a translator for this, what's the requirement by the state? What, do you have to have a bachelor's in some kind of criminal law or something first, or do you just go and pass the test to be certified?
We have got copies of his CV, what he does, his credentials. I can get that to you all the way.
What if somebody new wanted to do it for a career? What do they go get certified in to do that? Just one license? Yeah.
There's a statute that has specifically what they have to do to be certified. Often they have to be certified, by the state.
Is it a test or is it a 2-year program or school you go to?
You look on that first page, they got you. Is that something like that what you have to have?
Well, again, before we want to kill John Kriegel, you know, I had forgotten about that attempt to get him to be a full-time employee. So that was Morris County that put the kibosh on that deal. And he doesn't even work in his own home turf down there in Smith County. He just works for us right now, or can he work anywhere?
What I think he does is he tries to give us power, which is what we want. Otherwise, if you get a prosecutor to try somebody, you get a defense attorney.
That's what we talked about that time. Y'all brought up priority. Yeah. Y'all remember what them figures were when we were going full time? What were them figures? And it was going to be priority through the 3 counties, and there was a figure.
So last year the figure for Congress was 55, but what we determined was that did not include the benefits. We had not implemented enough money to include benefits. We talked to Kent County, and Judge Lee wanted to be an employee of Kent County. And I think we figured their benefits package would have been 20%, I think 20% above whatever the salary is. And
Just like on this sheet here on his back, on the scheduled murder trial, 4 and 6, he charges $1,800 and there was no murder trial.
That's true.
Certain trials cost more.
But if he goes to jail and he's translating between the defense attorney and the person in jail, he's incurring time. He's here.
I understand that. Do we know that he was there?
Well, I don't keep up with his day.
Right. That's my opinion. I know you are, but I'm just saying, did he come up that day?
I can't answer that.
Yes, sir.
Because we don't always see him.
Right. But that's why I'm saying accountability is,
Well, if you convert, I think what these guys, what I'm hearing these guys say is that it doesn't seem like a reasonable way to compensate somebody, but we don't know what's the norm in this world. And I do believe that there's probably not a line of people standing there that you can pick from to do this job. It sounds pretty specialized to me. And this guy speaks as good Spanish as he does English. The question is, if you get him on an employment contract and you're paying, salary and benefits and insurance and stuff, is it going to be cheaper for you in the long run? I don't know. Have we outgrown John Kriegel? Do we need to renegotiate a little bit tougher because we are spending a lot of money? This is y'all's department. I don't know what the answer is.
I've had experience with this other gentleman that came to Kent County because, quite frankly, Mr. Kriegel was somewhere else. And then he goes to another county, and it was not good. Okay?
Yeah, highly recommended guy.
Pardon?
It's highly recommended. He's highly recommended. We understand that. That's good.
He's highly recommended.
Yeah.
He's got, the man grew up in Spain. His parents are Michigan. So he is as bilingual as somebody.
What's the ballpark figure of that full-time salary for him? What was the ballpark? Do you remember? Yeah. No, just out of the 3 counties. When we were talking earlier, did we ever come up
He
with
was
that
the
figure?
same, Camp and Titus sits out there on the same time for a full day. How do you go here for half a day?
He's good.
Oh, okay.
He's good.
Yeah.
He's good,
I thought
yeah.
I'd see
I
something
wasn't aware of that.
full-time,
Yes.
hopefully all 3 counties, but if not, what it would cost him full-time here versus, it's probably gonna be more than 85,000 then, because the way he moves around, he can make more money traveling. Maybe between the 3 counties, he might make it worth his while, say, I'll do it for this, you know?
Does he go to more than the 3 counties here? He goes to 8 different
He has
counties?
other counties, if you look at his CV, he has other counties that he has gone to, but done this now. Now, I can't tell you exactly where he's going now.
Yeah.
Smith County, I know he was at Athens recently, when we got done with him, he had to leave and go there. I don't remember all of us.
The benefit to us is he's going to come to our court first.
Smith County's been trying to get him on full-time there, away from us, and they were gonna pay him a whole lot more than y'all could ever entertain him.
So that's what I was asking, it's gonna be high. Okay. If we contract him, would it be a set fee, an hour fee every time he's working for all 3 counties? Or would each county pay a little bit more? Would we have to pay more than Camp County per hour?
You would have to pay more than not per hour. I would say a contract with him for those top professionals.
What would it look like?
Would be sort of like a contract that Kent County has with indigent defense, where you don't pay any benefits, but there's a set amount, say $89,000, whatever it is, and he gets paid by checks that turns in where he's been in.
So some years it'd be a lot of court time, some years it may be less. So we're just gambling on that too versus paying like we're doing now in the honor system. And might have a slow year one year and a busy year or a bunch of bad trials and jail time, you know.
I think you can anticipate business is going to pick up.
That's the only thing y'all's budget just keeps really raising, really high. Yeah.
So, for instance, this year, and I know there have questions about the bills, and what we respect that, I wasn't saying give them a long time.
Yeah.
I understand. But for this year, you know, that's $55,000, because we thought it was going to be a similar situation. We're already at $62,453, and we're not even to the end of the year yet. So what you said in a contract or in some situation would do is give you a guarantee that it's not going to go over that. I can tell you my belief, and I believe it's also leads too. Once we get to pick up back in insurance trials, we're going to have a lot of work next year. I mean, the year is going to be.
So we're expecting a busy year coming up, for sure. Yeah.
If we had a contract with him, would he go to any other county?
Yes, sir.
He could still go to any other county?
Unless you want to have a contract with him for about $400,000, I believe so.
That's the kind of money.
Wow, it's
That's
crazy.
the kind of job. That's nuts.
You think everybody would be trying to get certified to do that?
Well,
That's
not everybody's
nuts.
going to be a contract and has that certification. Not everybody's going to make $300,000-$400,000 a year.
What would we expect if we put an application out for people to come apply for that? What would we expect a general start out
too much
salary for that for a year? Exclusive here, what would you think it would
That's
have
just
to
like you.
be?
150.
Yeah.
I'll be here. I'm not going to be there. I'm going to be there.
How much?
150,000 minimum.
We're the ones that bring
You know,
For a new person.
can't blame
I may be wrong, but I know of 2 or 3 school teachers hit my mind right now that can write and speak perfect Spanish and English and write it and speak it.
But you got to throw the legal layer on top of this, knowing all the terms. I mean, this isn't any bilingual person can come and do this.
It's almost
I
like a
don't know
lawyer,
if they need to be paid $400,000.
advocate lawyer type thing. It's not.
That's in one county. No, that's,
Yeah. That's a pretty crazy job.
How many certified translators are there in our area?
I have no idea. He's the only one I know. Now, he's the only one I know. You know, there's other gentlemen, that's the same way he has.
How'd y'all find them? Just through another judge said, hey, I know a guy? No, the other guy y'all used. It's just, he found somebody.
can get a gentleman on the mountain out of this one, he's been on the ground for a couple hours and he's been here. But it's
Hard to find. It's a tricky
Tell us
situation.
why was it not good?
One, he couldn't keep up with the court the way it was going, and he also said we had to sit there and he completely messed up all of the testimony that he was saying things different than what they were asking what she was doing.
Translated wrong.
Translated wrong. And like I said, thankfully that was a civil situation and not a criminal one.
Was he just a rookie, or what was the deal? Maybe we need two translators.
There's that. And then when I was talking to Titus County, and we did CBS, there was somebody that CBS had this woman, and she couldn't keep up, and she doesn't have to get out there, and she told her later about it, and she wouldn't, it was just bad. I mean, it was just bad. And so it is hard to get a translator that can do this work and keep up with case and do what's necessary.
When we get his bills, should we run them through Marcus Carlock's district clerk's office and let him make sure this was where it was and yes before we have to look at them? Would that be a good idea, kind of as a double checking things maybe in the future?
The last billing was 2018 to the county clerk's office.
He quit sending them to the clerk's office, just started sending them straight to the auditor's office. Kind of strange. And I didn't know, maybe that should be a check system. Yeah. Okay. Y'all kind of look them over. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Okay.
Right. So why did they stop for 2018, sending the bills to the county clerk and instead of to the auditor? That's my question.
Is that what Woodson did? He sent them over to the clerk first? Maybe, yeah, before you took over? Okay. Well, it looks like it's going to keep going up.
Well, what do you think about the negotiations with the contractual relationship or an employment relationship? Is that still ongoing? What's the next step? Do we expect
Let's start
anything
again.
there?
If you want us to do that, we'll do it. We'll start talking to them.
So this,
I'd like
what
to
you're
do that.
proposing here with this 85 is just business as usual, staying with him the way it is now?
So originally, and something that you talked to me about that, but originally, when we sat down to do the exercise, that wasn't for a salary between Camp and Thomas, and actually salary was a little bit lower, and then,
Benefit.
we added a little benefit package that's made to be, and then divided it into Camp and Thomas. But I didn't know the time to do that, and he was coming to home, and he was going to say he paid mileage. And then I told him, if he's employee, not going to get mileage, that way, the contract is what he needs a contract for it. And so I don't know if that's going to change the number, honestly, or not. We probably can't do it.
What was that? What was that number between the two counties?
I believe it was 70, it was cover 70 for Thomas and 30, or 35. I think it was 30%, cover 70 for Thomas, and then we added benefits, but that was changed to the 8 of the year and the 35 for him.
How long will the contract last? 1 year? Then we renegotiate, see what's up.
You know, you drive from here to Tyler and you charge $900. Why would you charge mileage fee? $900 a day is exceptional. You know, I don't know anybody right here makes $900 a day, plus $79 for travel fee.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Because this is how he's been being paid for many years before we came.
Do you think we would save money in the long run going to a contract versus just doing what we're doing?
It would be something you could try to see.
Yeah, it'd be locked in versus like this year, we're probably going to spend 85 by the end of the year. and we start out 55. Yeah.
You know, in 18 and 19, we were at 42,000 and 48,000. What has changed, especially in this past year, to go to 62,000? We're 3/4 of the way through, and we haven't even been having as much court. How do we explain that? In other words, we're talking about requesting double what we did 3 years ago.
Okay, we schedule a court. We have these calendars. One of our is up here, and I got together, and we had to change everything because we can't have jury trial. We're still trying to schedule a court to do non-jury that week. And then, you know, whereas used to, like, private court, we would have court and football. Well, we can't do that anymore. You know, we've got to spread them out, use some backup to try to estimate context of here, use a certain amount of time, and so that's, I don't know about kind of trying to explain to you what's happened to us, but we have to have this real rare of those things take place.
Non-jury trials are more time consuming than jury trials since COVID?
No, exactly.
Okay. No, yeah.
Okay. We still spread out the
Yeah, it's been busy.
When we set up the trials this year, or the calendar for this year, we usually put more calendar days in for Titus County than we had the year before, I believe.
Yes, because we have more business.
Because we have more business going on in Titus County. We also had more trial schedule originally. When COVID hit in March, they told us to do as much as we could remotely, so we continued to do stuff remotely. CBS went total remotely, and so when they needed translators, he was still there and done to the computer, because people in jail do remotely from here and they go back to Titus. Because the Supreme Court is changing frequently, we didn't change our calendars, but we have scheduled for everyone that we would let them, if they were letting me turn them, but they might have a court now, we can do this remotely, or the often emergency hearings, or they're having executive hearings, but those things get going anymore, even when we want to have a trial. And the other things that we're having to do remotely about it. So we didn't make our calendars, so the calendars we had, and the way we schedule, which is I believe what you saw reflected on the bills, was from the calendar we had. What I think happened after we talked about the bills was that he did not fit the bill that actually hearings that we had, he said what was scheduled, which was not called a meeting there, that there was at least 1 days that Boston had a hearing, I believe, and I had a hearing a different day than he billed for. Come the first of June, we knew they were going to let us come back up. We changed our schedules for June and July and gave him a new schedule. But up until that point, I don't believe he even did a new schedule. He was being called or emailed when he needed him. He was the one who we have needs to work for our issue. So I can understand the concern of the field, and why he was still building what was on the schedule. I can think he was working during that time. I can tell you that he was here every day that he does that bill.
So in general, over 3 years ago, can we just say we've got more Spanish-speaking people in court than we used to? We got more Spanish-speaking people that are in y'all's court than 3 years ago. It's like double. And that's why our bills are more for translators, because if there's less Spanish folk, we don't need a translator. Or does he come to every court, English or Spanish?
He will come to five courts. We'll come to the docket.
Even if
we have a trial set.
So he comes to everything?
Yes.
So then,
so you got a civil case.
Somebody may speak Spanish only, and you just making sure it's
free trial. They're not speaking Spanish speaking witnesses. They'll have to come to jury selection. Because some of these folks can't speak English. You'll just have to sit there and ask anybody out here not understand English.
Yeah.
Because we have had a person come to jury who didn't know what we were saying.
He comes for everything, stays the whole time, English or Spanish.
I believe, and I was here 3 years ago, but I believe what I've been told was happening was there was a lot of times that they needed an interpreter, that we didn't have an interpreter because it wasn't scheduled, and they changed it where we had to schedule, and we started coming on the schedule, if we needed somebody. We had tried stuff in here, and we sent out emails where the attorneys, when they get their notice of hearing, to let us know they're going to be an interpreter. But I'm going to say No. We don't have any facilities, so we can't do it.
Well, you're just gonna have him anyway. Be on the safe side, and hardly ever not need him. It's a pretty demanding job then, pretty required.
If you've got an English,
Got a good demand, okay.
if you've got an English-speaking defendant, why does he have to be there for Spanish jury select? I mean, for jury, not Spanish, for jury selection.
Because some of the juries come in and don't speak English. The jurors show up, they don't speak English. That's what he's saying. He doesn't want on a jury.
Well, when I have a jury trial, they have to be able to read and write English.
That's right. Now I answer the question.
But what?
Now, sir,
Do I need John Kriegel to come and ask the audience, hey, anybody here not speak English? Adios.
For $900, you need to go both of them. Tell them to come over here too.
See you after lunch, too.
I wish I could get that
Finding a
job.
jury, when you're selecting jury, you can't just say, if you don't speak English, go home. And start again. We just won't have enough people.
it's happened, they didn't understand what we were saying, they get on the jury, and here we are.
Yeah.
If he could serve on a jury if he's not a citizen?
Not supposed to.
And if he's a citizen, that means he had to speak English and
These
pass.
people don't understand what we're saying. We read off the qualifications, they don't understand what we're saying. And I asked if they're a citizen or something like that, sometimes they just sit there, nothing happens. And next thing you know, here they are.
Do you have to be a registered voter to be called for jury?
Yes.
Yeah.
You got to be qualified to be a voter. You don't have to register. You got to be qualified.
That's true. But it seems to me you could get somebody to come over for 10 minutes to address your audience in Spanish.
And go.
Hey, friends,
He does it, he'll go on.
not he, I'm saying somebody that'll be $15 an hour.
Well, and just use him for the big time trial stuff.
Either his rates have gone up considerably, or we're having him up here a whole lot more, or he's billing us in a different way to go from 42 and 48 up to these kind of figures here of late. I don't know what the answer is, but it does seem like it's getting out of hand. And I don't know what his policy is about what you're showing me here, but what it indicates is some days he might make $1,800 or $1,350 in a day.
Support how many courthouses he goes to.
And in the absence of a contract or an agreement, I mean, he may have, it just doesn't seem right to be able to double dip and be charged in two different counties, for the same time.
I do understand that, and I don't know how it's not that deal. I can tell you that I've been in Warren County, Titus County, and there's also been in the other county, or Kent County, and he will come to one first, he will do what he needs to do, and he goes to the other one.
How does he-
Titus County takes a little longer than the other ones, he generally goes to the other county first, and then goes to Titus.
But why is he, I just don't see you get charged for one county gets half a day, another county gets a full day.
No, I understand, I know what I said, I don't understand. his-
For the same day. That's what.
We really can be in two counties on the same day. I understand the bill, I can't.
Well, do you think maybe we ought to at least get him to write down, here's my billing policies. Here's the maximum I can make in a day, here's when you pay me and when you don't pay me. Seems like we ought to be able to get that.
That's why I'm suggesting that y'all have some sort of contract or something so that everybody knows
You know what the
clear on what, on county billing, on what we're paying.
Y'all understand what this officer is saying about it getting two cameras at the same time? I mean, it's happening. And like the fact, the jury will start court at 10 o'clock in the morning, but we accommodate each other. She's got to
Sharing.
require revocation.
He's not in two places at the same time. He's in two separate places in different times of the day.
I understand that. But
Okay, I
Yeah.
want to make sure that
I just don't, I understand that, but I just can't see him getting paid for a full 8 hours at one county and paid 4 hours at the other county.
The same day.
The same day. That's
what-
my deal.
I mean, he's working a day and a half.
I'm not aware of that. If it happens, we're not aware of it. I'm not.
Are we paying from when he leaves his house till he gets home in Tyler? If we hired somebody and put out an application and we hired somebody to be an interpreter that had these credentials, say they're new at it or somebody young at it, just for Titus County, could you say, would y'all use them for your jury selections and your simple stuff that's not very, very complicated for them at first, till they learn it more, and then use Crinkle when you have to have him for the big trials? Would that be an option? I mean, it seems like if you speak Spanish, you can weed out some jurors, you know, but if you got to have this credential.
He's Jeff here.
Well, you get those jurors out there.
Yeah, on jury day. That is, what percentage of that is your court time with him? Is that just a third, maybe? Yeah.
So we were trying to change it. We were there about trial. We started to pick the jury. Sometimes they got the option.
Yeah. Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Because it's around the over $50,000, we need to go out with a proposal. That's what the law says, and I understand. Now, we don't make the decision, we don't make that decision based on what the rates are. We make the decision based on what their qualifications are. We have them send us their list of qualifications, their experience, whatever it is, designate some things that y'all would like to require, and a rate sheet. And then when we get that in, then we, the county, the district judges, commissioners, y'all can negotiate with whoever the person is.
An interview or something.
And very likely to choose Mr. Kriegel because we are aware of his experience and his knowledge and all those kinds of things. Or we may find someone that we think is better. But at least that would help us to meet the legal requirements when it's over $50,000. At the same time, we can advertise for a position to hire someone at any time. You never have to fill it.
That's right.
You can just advertise for it. So we can do both of those things, and then we have the kind of the law in our court for y'all to decide what would best meet the needs of the county.
What's y'all's
You're
help?
calling that a request for qualification? What you're calling
Yeah.
that?
And we ask them, usually what I've done in the past, request for qualifications, usually we say what we prefer, but we don't have to take that, but, you know, our request for qualifications, and then their estimated rate sheet. But they're supposed to see that separate, it doesn't always happen, because you're supposed to decide based on their qualifications. These are the people who are the best qualified. And then you look at their rates. If their rates are just exorbitant, there's no way you can make that work, well, then maybe you go to the second one. Or maybe you decide it's worth it. Or perhaps they ask for a number and you say, we can't do that, but we can negotiate and do something less. Or agree on travel time or not travel time, or, 2 hours minimum instead of a half day, and what that rate might be. Just at that time, you can negotiate and get the best, whatever it is. What do you want to do?
I would expect you to do something for each county. How would that work if you were trying to do something for the county? There's a proposal to that's what I understand that you need to do that. I don't know exactly that at all.
Tell us what's important about having the same person in both counties. Just a matter of you're used to them. But is that possible to have?
It has to be. I would
It doesn't have to be, but if you want to get the person with the best, you have a privilege for it. And in district court, we would find we want this. Now, say, well, the thing is, one day, serious criminal case, serious criminal case. Here we go.
We have
at the discretion of the district court.
So we can't just do the same thing at the same time?
That's good. I need to ask how many they would likely to do something that,
Where would you advertise that at? Just in the newspaper?
looks like that was needed. They're not spending $50,000, I have to do that. Yeah, but that's my sister and
Is there a good place to advertise that type of job in a professional magazine or newsletter or something that would help get more word out that we're looking for this real rare job title? That is a rare, it's such a rare career. Wow. Okay.
Well, sounds to me like what I'm hearing here is this money keeps going up and up. There doesn't appear to be a billing system that we really understand. At least on the surface, it seems like it's not fair when we can make more than $900, when he can make more than $900 a day. We may be paying him for time he's spending in another county. But until we have a definitive agreement with him, this may have been going on for the last 20 years. I don't know, but I am looking at $42,000 now doubling to $85,000 and going, where is it going to end? And do we have to have the Cadillac forever and ever? I'm sure we do. There's got to be somebody out there. But before we go and start making changes, my preference would be to be able to keep this guy. But I'd like to see in writing so that we know this is how it works. And if we like it, fine. If we don't like it, we'll say, we're going to find something else. And I don't have any reason to think that John wouldn't provide you with, here's how it works, guys. There it is. If he's in that high demand, he can tell us, see you later. And that's not my objective, but let's take it one step at a time. If we can develop an agreement with them that we're all okay with, keep him. If not, then it may be time to look for an alternative. Doesn't mean we don't use him at all, but
when we go out for proposals, I mean, based on whatever we get back, I think the judge is responsible to determine if we can have someone do what Commissioner Fitch suggested, someone newer with less experience do some portion of it, and then get approval. When there's somewhere advanced, legal community. I don't remember the right word. But we get a whole, I would hope that we would get a spectrum of people with different levels of experience, and possibly we could have Mr. Kriegel here for the more important things, the criminal capital murder type thing, and somebody else that was, I hate to say not as important, but more that would be an entry level need for that. I don't know if y'all would be interested in that, and maybe that someone would look at the Cadillac is what you're saying. But when we advertise, we might get some more information we may not.
You have decided to do a job, they range anywhere from someone who's out of law school, got a law license, I'm ready to qualify, to somebody who's practiced for other people. Now, there is a lot of difference in what you don't get for your money when you do that, as far as the quality of the representation. And that, to me, is kind of an example that I can really understand. Because I've seen a vast difference in lawyers that come to court. Somebody's been there less than a year, somebody can do it like a third. Big difference. You got this Kriegel, and he's at the top of his game as far as principles. So he's that kind of guy.
You ever see anybody brand new at it? Just starting out, that one person?
The one we saw, I saw, he couldn't be there. It was deal.
I start
well,
somewhere.
hopefully that's not indicative of everybody else.
Not that bad. That sounds like a bad day. Yeah, I understand.
It's like getting a haircut. Go the best.
Well, some of us don't have to worry about that too much.
Getting a haircut one day, and the guy said, he cut me down really low. I mean, my hair was just leaving. Looked like 3 dogs done died laying on the ground.
And I said, how long you been cutting hair? He said, this is my second day. I didn't need a haircut for a year and a half. But I understand. Don't be jealous of the hair.
Okay, where do we go from here? One,
What do
we-
y'all want us to do? Any other information we can give you? I think I can get you a CV over here.
can we get,
His qualifications.
And some,
Barbara, can we,
kind of contract.
look, can we try to negotiate something with him and get a contract written, or I mean an agreement, or get a rate sheet from him before we go out for this
We have to
RFQ?
go out for bid, we just
Okay.
over 50,000. Now, if the court, if y'all haven't seen something.
If you do the contract.
Well, we're speaking
Period.
for 50,000, so we need to go out.
Oh, you need to do the.
We're already employing him as a independent contractor. And she's saying we can't spend 50,
Well, we're over it.
we're over it right now.
Right.
It hasn't been typically over 50, but 50 is our threshold, and therefore going forward, we are going to have to, this isn't, you can explain this to John, this isn't just because we want to be mean or we don't like him anymore, but now that we have exceeded that 50,000 mark and we're anticipating, in fact, even budgeting that, we've got to do an RFQ for our court translator. Now, if we had 4 different ones to choose from and we were paying a total of $85,000, that wouldn't be the case.
I believe you still have.
We'd still have to,
You spend over $50,000.
even if it's with multiple vendors.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, thank
That's
you.
sequential purchasing. We sequentially pay something.
Okay.
Stay under the requirement. It's
All right.
the same purpose. Yes, it's the same purpose.
Now, I don't know where we'll advertise for something like that. Probably on, some of the big internet sites.
Only required to advertise in the local newspaper.
Well, we don't want to just look at the local pool. If we're going to be serious about this, I'd like to know what's out there in a 75-mile radius.
I don't know where else, I don't know.
Well, you get Monster.com and places like that for a specialty high-paying job like this. And we might want to get a consultant to help us with this. I don't know how it works. But if you advertise it in the local newspaper, you're not going to get anybody to respond, I don't think.
Well, we will respond, and then, in my opinion, we've met the legal requirement, and there may be someone else, but then we've met the legal requirement. We may not be getting the best bang for our buck, but we have met the legal requirement for that. One of the questions that I have is, I don't know the age of Mr. Prickle, but we need to have someone, a longevity plan. He's been here since Judge White and Judge Porter.
He was here when we were here.
Yeah, that's a long time.
What is he, 65? What do you think?
So he may have someone, that could follow up in a few years whenever, I don't know how long you can do that job, maybe a long time. Of course, we can't put those in the request, but it's something we need to consider. I always like to consider the long-term plan, not just get us through 2 years, but what are we going to do after that?
All right.
So is that, do we want to advertise for qualifications, or do we want to advertise for an employment position? First question people are going to ask for employment is, what's the salary range?
Well, they're going to know what certification we need.
Well, that's right.
It is a certain something through the state of Texas interpreter for the courts. Whatever that is what we want. That's what I want on there.
Can y'all send me that? Can y'all send me that? Or
Whatever that state certification is, let's just start there.
whatever it is? We'll put it proposal.
Yeah. And then that's up to us if they got more experience.
When you were talking about that employment contract, were you trying to tie him up just for the 3 counties?
I was trying to get a contract for the 2 counties between Titus and Kent, so that Charlotte had a figure that she would not go above, and she would know that it was set.
But you said you were talking to Morris, too.
Morris is out.
What happened over there? What's up? Just not interested.
They don't have that as a business.
Took a miss.
So if you admit that we have a contract with him, and you need to go to Morris County, Could we bill Morris County for that time?
What I thought would happen would be part of the contract is that we would get forwarded the time in hand.
But you're not tying him up exclusively to these two.
Because I think we kind of exclusively can cost you a whole lot of money.
We might need to find a company that has several of these people. We can get them at at-need basis then, maybe. I don't know if there's such a thing. A firm or something that has them. Would be high?
No,
Yeah, because we don't know who we'll be getting unless they're good.
And if you're going through an agency, you don't know if you're going to send somebody that day that we won't have any idea who they are or whether or not they're translating or if they're even going to show up at the time.
Are there firms that specialize in this, like hiring a consultant? I mean, I've used one for insurance several times because I'm not a great insurance guru. Is there some firm out there that does that kind of thing?
with translators, I have no idea.
I doubt it.
You know
I
if
doubt
they
it.
had one, because be on your hot phone list for emergencies, you know.
I'm going to make one.
It's rare. Rare stuff.
I think you go with two or three of these big internet headhunter companies. I mean, there's several of them out there that have all kind of specialized jobs on them, very specialized jobs, and you're looking at a Texas-wide pool if there's somebody out there. But we know that there are these. Texas is bound to have a lot of these interpreters.
Well, I just pulled up right here the average court interpreter salary by state. Texas was the first one that come up. It's $20.23 an hour, $42.84 a year is the average salary for an interpreter.
Now, that sounds ridiculously low to me.
It does sound low, but
Is it called a court interpreter?
Texas is the highest one. Yeah, court translator salary is what I put in. And that Texas is the highest paid one. Everything else, New Mexico is 41, Michigan 41, Arkansas is 41. Well, I don't know.
Well, I'd want my interpreter making more than that, but
Probably 55.
10 times.
no. Okay, well, let's move on to a different subject. What else do we need to talk about here? What about our physical plant over there? What about our physical plant over there, that building, in light of the fact that we have not been successful in getting either one of these lady owners to relinquish their property back there, which was step one in talking about a master plan. I've got one that anticipates she'll retire in 2 years. I've told her we'd be interested in buying the property and leasing it back to you or allowing you to use it during that time if you would entertain that as a possibility. I can't get her to tell me anything. I don't know. And then the other one on this side, have not heard from her in 4 months. She just told me, no, I'm not interested in talking to you right now about the sales price. I don't know if we made her mad with our appraisal or what. So again, that was step one. We had taken off the table our decision to remodel that building just because of its age and the retrofit that would be required over there. So the wishes at the time of this court was to try to purchase those two properties back there and then at least give us the ability to consider a master plan for that block rather than carving out that back southeast corner over there, which is not going to be best for that property over there. So in the meantime, until we're successful there, is there anything that we need to do over there short of a remodel for that building?
Well, unless you want to consider taking in, what used to be where licensed people were over there, it's vacant space. I have heard perhaps the prosecutor talking about some of this space, but I
That's a possibility. We won't talk with him until Monday because he's on vacation this week. And with his increased personnel requests, whether they're granted or not, if he does need to double the size of his current staff, he may need to split locations. But originally, 8 years ago, that was one of the grand plans, was to make that into a courtroom over there. But I don't think at this time this court is interested in remodeling that building. Once we found out what all the expense that would go into retrofitting that building and bringing it up to code standards, with a major remodel brings on with it certain obligations to sprinkle that building and have better security, have better ADA requirements over there. So we're kind of in limbo right now. So I'm asking, is there something in between we need to do to that building for your offices or your courtroom B right now?
Well, courtroom A, as long as we're kind of operating with this code. I'm hearing a hard time.
You need any immediate remodel or something spruced up over there?
We've got to figure out something with that jury box for whenever we are able to have jurors, because part of our plan has to be, before we can even have one, is what we've done, how we can separate the jurors, whether they are plexiglass. We need to have plexiglass around the benches installed as soon as possible. They told us that last week in the regional judge did. Those are just little things. We had talked about the DA, whether or not we might career in the office space. We have to figure out security wise. There are going to be additional implementations for security for our offices. So we can't really focus on that until we have the days and January.
Well, I think you can count on him not vacating his current space. There's no way I can give him any more room by moving up to Judy Cook's old space by just moving him across the building.
Oh, I thought that was, I'm sorry. I thought it was like a remodel where they had offices over there in the space.
I don't think there's significantly more square footage
over there. You'd want to divide it up, addition or something. So it's going to be maybe 2 little offices or something. Maybe might be one of them empty because we're already using the storage building office back in the south side. I know y'all need some bathroom remodel, pretty deep down in there.
Yes.
Need some what?
Those bathrooms between courtroom B and their judge's chambers, they're pretty deep. I mean, maybe even a brighter light bulb would be nice.
And just have the network open.
Yeah, so we need to look into some bathroom fixtures, spruce it up, light it up, seal it. The who? Yeah,
Have they given you any report on that?
We're going to have everything.
Working today.
Well, we're going to probably be doing some equipment over there. It'll happen. I mean, have to have air.
But like what Judge Saucier was talking about, we're spending the jurors and the court and the job.
Yeah.
Spread them out.
We can do a lot of some of this and do it on a private stuff.
Like the river right there, we had trials. I did sit up in the jury box, keep them away from everybody else like
Right in there.
How you gonna do that with the jury?
Chairs or something. The bench is up there, little individual chairs. It's real hard to hear when we have our plexiglass in here. Boy, you just can't hear. So, I don't know what the answer is that. I mean, let's brainstorm that. That could be covered under some of our grant money, maybe.
But that grant doesn't need to be with the 30th, not the 31st.
So,
We have to actually read the check.
Well, it could always be extended, and if things don't, I mean, they're assuming that all this is over by the end of the year. May be, may not be.
Yeah, I mean, they may see it right now, see if it says you must have a reading check. Most grant statements, we have the work done.
they should have took that and made it longer extension for us. They cut us off and hadn't done a phase 2 yet, so.
With the license, the sooner we can get that done, the better. If we can't do it, we're going to the state, so we submitted the application.
And I feel like we're going to be long range in that building with having to wait on other people and other money and funds to even build a new building. So we have some remodel money now, Barbara.
We had $400,000 set aside for.
So it's just going to sit there till we spend it on something like that, or will it just disappear? So we had it last year.
Well,
Since we didn't spend it, it don't roll over.
it goes back to fund balance, which is where it is right now.
Well, either you're going to budget it again this year, or your budget will come down by that much. I don't suggest you do that. In case of buying opportunity, we put that $400,000 in there just to get the property bought.
So essentially, since you said that we're getting totally remodel, or not looking totally remodel, but you're still looking later, that you asked them, did you have something on that could be done?
Do we have a fund for like general maintenance on that building?
Sure.
It's what we need to remodel, paint up those bathrooms.
Again, which bathrooms are we talking about?
What do you call
The
that
public
area?
restrooms?
Is it one or is it two bathrooms?
There's two bathrooms, there's
They're kind of private back there between
between Courtroom Room
and y'all's chambers. Back in those hallways. There's two little bathrooms. You need to go look at them.
Are they not
It
functional?
looks like a dressing room from an old building or something from 1950 in there.
They're functional part of this time. Generally, okay, in the women's, there's very tall, generally it's one of them works, but most of the time, one or two don't. And one
Take a look into that. Yeah, well, that's a good convenience thing. We need to do a little checking on that right there.
Let me just look at it this way, it doesn't look like that.
Yeah, it's like a storage room bathroom or something. I went in there, it is pretty dingy.
No, I'm not suggesting anything. I'm just asking if you needed anything.
And then nothing new really, just spruce up a few things. David showed me a few things of the building. David's familiar with some places in the bathroom that need a little thermometer on the countertop or something. He'll know a lot of stuff. So we may have to do a little bit of work. Just because it's tight and we need to get that petitioned up somehow.
One of your calls from the nurse fell in there, it's just not.
Well, are you going to initiate that? I mean, what's the next step there?
Yeah, we can, I mean, tell us, like I said, we gotta have a plan and come up with an idea. And again, we can plan all we want to, but if y'all don't accommodate us.
Well, for COVID-related expenses, we have grant monies available that she says needs to be spent by the end of the year. So if y'all are going to make modifications in there, you need to start planning them.
Okay, all right.
So then do we just make a request, so you kind of what we are anticipating will be good for that area, or what we're asking for that area, and then just give you a written request? How do you want to do that?
Maybe call Brown or Taylor, meet them up there and say, we need to divide this up. What can you do? And we need our petitions in front. What's it going to cost us? They'll bid it out. It's not.
Well, are you separating each juror from one another?
6 feet. Is there a way you can stand with a platform temporary and go, or just run into the doors?
have to look at it. We might have to temporary stage, or come out further, temporary, like a simple stage out front, so we can 6 foot them apart, and then when this is over, we can take that out of there, you know. I'll come over and put my mind to it. We'll look it over. Yeah, let's put some stuff over on that, and then we have a grant for that.
So we need to look at the grant and make sure, because there are some restrictions, it's not just
Okay.
wide
And
I would think that would fall under somewhere
I
somehow.
think it does, but there's a limitation. I believe it's not more than 25% of the total amount that you see.
Okay.
So we've got to make sure that we're speaking to them to cover that.
Okay, well, what are we going to budget for the translator for right now? Probably better budget than 85 until we come up with a better plan, but in the meantime, if we don't get a solution, we need to have a figure plugged in here.
almost 80 when we earlier negotiated with Kent County, wasn't it? We were going to be out 80, 70,000, 80 last year. Yes, then you had benefits, we'd be out 85 again, wouldn't we?
I think you would have been about 5,000 last year on what we.
So 85 is a good ballpark. Okay.
I think the first thing you can do is, hey, John, will you just at least write down for us so that we can show the court how do you charge? Okay, anything else?
I can get with Ken if y'all are busy or something, if I can catch y'all or something. I'll get with Ken and explain, we'll look at some stuff over there.
The court reporter expense, is that one court reporter?
That's probably both of them.
You've got two?
Each county,
I didn't know how many court reporters we had these days.
Judge Saucier has one.
And I'm not sure if this court reporter line, I don't know if that's for our court reporter salaries or if that is for when that visiting court reporters and to pay extra for
Yeah,
the transcripts and things.
yeah, because they charge the transcript and so forth, they have time on it.
I was just curious how many people that was. Are they employees or are they contracted
They're employees.
They are employees.
Through Morris County.
through Morris County? Okay.
But each county contributes to their salary and their insurance on
I just didn't, but we don't pay for their like hospitalization insurance.
The benefits are included in what they give us.
Okay. All that's rolled up into that one
There
figure.
is a line item in terms of taxpayers, there's a line item under jury fund that says, court reporter expense. So that's probably what you're talking about, only one. I imagine this is why it's salary.
Yes, I think that 88,000 is the salary, and the other one is for additional court reporter expense that we have when we do get other court reporters or pay additional for transcripts.
Okay. Let's wrap it up. Thank y'all for all the time.
Thank y'all for letting us come over here and do it.
Good to see you. Thank you.
Y'all are kicking us around, we're gone, you come up with another question, perhaps we can ask you, answer for you about your grandmother, send it over.
You're always welcome to text me or call me or email me.
We gotta be safe and be careful.
Thank you.
Thank y'all.
All right, let's jump over to the maintenance barn, or jump back, I guess that's prior to the district judges. Okay, Dana, you said there was just one thing that changed?
Well, they said we've got the lift, for that, which has helped out a whole lot. And like I said, need a transmission jack that they can get up underneath it, and the trucks and stuff pull the transmission out. That's all they're asking.
That's what that big item was that we budgeted last year.
Yes, sir.
So we're going from 15,000 down to 1,500.
Right.
Don't have any anticipated needs, doesn't
No.
sound like.
This is the only one that would help them, because he pulled the car transmission on Tim's car the other day. They had a special make a bracket to hold the motor up on the car. He had to weld a piece of angle iron or stand kind of deal, and he took it loose and he had to drop it down to unbolt it.
What were we taking out, the transmission or the motor?
The transmission.
Oh, okay.
We had to put a bracket to hold the motor sideways. We had to put a bracket over the whole motor to hold it up where it wouldn't fall down.
The motor sideways?
Yes.
On what vehicle?
It's at his little bitty, that blue car he drives.
That Tim drives.
Yes.
That
One that was confiscated, a blue.
one they confiscated.
Dodge.
It's a Stratus.
It's a
Stratus, I think.
The transmission is about this wide, but it goes in sideways. And what they had to do is get it held up there, they drop it to the floor, they get it underneath it, unbolt it, and then jack it, put it.
They got it done, though.
Yeah, I got the small transmission and jack, and picked it up and caught it, then they had to unbolt it, then they took the jack and jacked the whole car off the transmission. And this here, like I said, it's a heavy-duty jack. It'll be used to big truck transmissions on the dump trucks and all that. That way that they'll be up here working instead of on their backs and stuff.
$1,129.
For a what?
Transmission.
For a jack.
Not 1,500.
Well, they said, he just said 1,500, said that he's, in case we don't get it, that's good till September, but.
What about, I'll bring up tires again. What about his tires? And this year we only spent $6,000, but he's asking $25,000. So I see other years we spent $1,780, $1,580. So that's just keeping up the supply coming in for the sheriff department. And all those tires are marked now. What's in stock?
Yes, yes. Because I guess he has to keep. Because he has to have billed twice, because they got to bill to the ones that we buy, then the ones the sheriff buys.
So it may not spend all that, hopefully.
Because those Durangos, they're going through tires like you wouldn't believe.
Why?
It's just, they're not trucks. They you don't see some of them
They're
come
not
in.
made for what they're
doing. We've had
using with them.
We've had to take the front ends off of them, redo them, because they go through they come off they'll run through stuff, and the front end will be all knocked off, and they'll have to get up there and put it back on, and them tires just don't last long in them cars. But you very seldom see those Suburbans or Tahoes come in there unless it's for cameras or just maintenance, stuff like that, oil changes and stuff. Which that was a good idea on the Tahoes, because they're a lot bigger, a lot roomier, and I tell you, I wouldn't want to get in the back of that car. Ain't no room.
They have a better resale on them too.
Yes, yes.
Everyone else, people still want them cars.
See, we had on Tim's car, we had to get the transmission put in, and carry it to Dodge House to have it reprogrammed. Because you just can't put it in, take it out, and drive it.
Well, what about this tire expense? Why are we so low year-to-date, and yet we're asking for 25? Do you know what the logic there is?
I could find out. But
He told me, Jeff told me the other day that their tire deal since the unit system, that they got a lot of the stuff in during the unit system. They got a lot of the stuff in during the unit system and put tires on it. And so their tire repair and whatnot had gone down considerably since they had, since then. And so.
Maybe they had some in inventory or something too.
well, they got the big truck tires and stuff, or dump truck tires. They try to keep a set or two sets where we can, have to have. If we have to have them, we have them.
I know my tire maintenance has been way down this year too.
Mine's always high.
So just keep it at the same 25 is what he thinks is the best prediction.
To them, especially those Tahoe tires are not cheap either. No, well, the Durango, whatever they are, the Dodge's tires are not cheap.
And they don't last as long.
No.
All right. Anything else we need to zero in on here?
Nope. Just the jack.
I have a question about the jack. It's really $1,500 or so, and you look at his shop supplies account, he's only spent right at $8,000, and he's got $14,600.
Yeah.
Why don't we just go ahead and get that now?
That's fine.
That
We don't have to increase next year's.
That was my question the other day, was he had said something to me about it.
Yeah.
And I asked him, I said, if you got the money in your supply, the tool deal or whatever for this year, I said, I'd say go ahead and get it and not.
Yeah, well, like I said, he was just trying to, he asked me, he said, well, what I need to do? I said, well, he don't want to, he wants to show that he's getting it, but he said, well, I got money. I said, well.
Got plenty of room. Tell him to get it.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you want to zero that capital outlay?
Yes.
So are we going to continue with not charging the $35 per hour, the adjustment that we made during this year? Because those funds go into this account.
Question for these guys. And where is that figure on here?
It's not,
It's what?
it's not, I have to make
Is that it back there on 202? Page 202?
No, 202, I don't have 202.
Page 202 at the top. It's the page right before that jack bid from O'Reilly.
Yes, sir, that's it.
And that 6,500 per precinct and the 18,000 from the sheriff's department was that revenue that was coming in at $35 an hour. And that's why the year-to-date is so low, because we eliminated that back several months ago. So that's the question. Is there? I mean, I assume y'all's intention was to stop that $35 an hour.
Well, we decided to go back to it because of paperwork and everything, what we voted on last time. And we put money in there. What did we do?
Go back.
No.
What did we vote on?
No, we voted to eliminate it.
Eliminate 35 hours.
That means we would need to adjust this down, and that's a lot of money there, 18,000 plus 26,000 that was flowing back into the shop that was coming out of, the precincts.
That's what I assumed we were gonna do, is go back and start charging again 35 hours.
Well, what was the reason we left it? I thought we wanted to get away from that.
Well, like I said, it was them, it was just paperwork, just have to keep up with the hours, two different tickets, put the hours and the parts and stuff.
We decided we were gonna put 15,000 from Tim in there.
Yeah.
What was it, Russ? 6,500 a piece in there. We put it in there, but we didn't have enough money.
That's not what all we said was we were not going to continue doing the $35 an hour, and we moved that money from your budget to a contingency for future use, if we decided that we needed it.
But,
I mean, it seems to me that the maintenance shop supports your precincts. And that's what that was designed to do. So we can either do the $35 an hour and all the paperwork that goes with it, or we can just budget to put $6,500 from your departments into the maintenance shop.
I thought that's what we ought to do, what we were going to do, but I thought we were still falling short at the end of the year.
Well, we weren't, because it was set up that way. The original budget was $225,000 in revenue and $238,000 in expenses. But the problem that I see with doing the $6,500, we can do that. But with the sheriff's department, he's actually billing him. I think that may be why some of the tire costs are down in the maintenance department, is because he's actually billing those to the sheriff now.
That's right. And we were going to bill our parts out.
On a tire-by-tire basis, just at actual cost?
Actually, he's got some in stock that he keeps for if something happens and he needs to, make that tire replacement right away.
Okay. Well, based on what we did back several months ago, I would say we zero out these revenues, $6,500 from each. Well, no, we leave the revenue in there, and we just put a lump sum figure in each of the precincts and the sheriff. Let's do that.
Take it out of our repairs in each precinct, or whatever line we choose to do. Will that work? Good.
Yeah, but I mean, that'll just be really a bookkeeping entry. I mean, we're not going to be keeping track of those actual expenses, so some of you may actually run higher than that. Some of you,
on average.
Yeah, that's just an average.
Good with that.
That's just to make up
We
that.
may run over pretty easy, could be under, as long as we can, support that.
Yeah, somehow you've got to fund up the maintenance department if you're going to pluck this $40,000 out of there.
Send her translator over there.
When did y'all find out about all that?
2 weeks ago.
Okay, well, Barbara says there's a bill that hadn't been approved. How's that going to be dealt with?
I just want accountability. Because, I just can't see you bill somebody and not show up and charge them $900. 3 days, $2,700 for 3 days. It was because it was scheduled.
I agree.
But it was Marcus's people called him a week ahead and canceled it. Said we're not going to have it. But he still charged us for it.
What'd you say?
I'm
They
sorry,
need to get
sir.
They need to get
What'd you say? I couldn't hear you.
Okay, well, he, I just don't.
Talking about the translator.
I just don't.
Oh, okay, I'm sorry.
That's my deal. But like I said, he got 3 days that he had on June that they had court scheduled, but they had canceled it. Marcus and them, they went and they canceled the court that week. So I just don't see why we should pay him $900 just because he's got it scheduled.
His billing's so confused.
That's what they've been approving all along.
My good, $2,700 in 3 days. That's not counting the other counties he charged that day. You got Camp County here, $800, and you got,
But if he comes back and says, that's the way I've been doing it for years,
well,
That's why we won't find out.
that's why we need to see we'll see a written agreement with him.
well, like I said, it charges us more, but I just don't know how you charge a day and a half and be at 2 different places. There's got to be a happy medium there. If you was there half a day, you shouldn't charge but a half a day.
Hudson wants your profile.
Oh, does he? I don't think.
I want to know who's in 2 places at once and double billing you. I've had that done.
Yeah.
That's what it sounded like. Excuse me. I don't know.
Yeah, but like I said, it's to me it's just because he didn't charge travel time. It's all he got in the booklet here.
Well, he explained to you,
Those days, I guess
if
they
he's
were
scheduled,
recorded
he gets
and he's gonna
paid.
be
That's not-
in those courts, and he
Well,
charges anyway. It's like without a contract, we're paying him whether he goes or he doesn't.
Well, the logic is, I could have picked up a job, in Tyler if I'd have known you were going to cancel me.
Well,
I can't go without income today.
Yeah, but he was canceled ample enough time the week before, and he still charges.
Until somebody challenges it, I guess it's
Well,
going to be done the way it's always
Well, like I said,
been.
it's
challenged.
he's being challenged.
Well, somehow that bill's not just going to go away.
Well, I know that Camp and Morris rejected it too.
Really?
Yes.
Well, that'll force his hand to explain how he's doing it.
Because I got it's all in this profile here. Hear me, Judge, it's all in this right here, what,
Okay, I'll read
You read it.
I'd like to read that.
because, $400,000, I'm in the wrong business. Are you out? $400,000, I'm in the wrong business.
It's a lot of money, more than lawyers make. I can't believe those lawyers standing still for that.
It had a murder trial.
There's one more thing. We were looking at the revenue on this maintenance fund.
Yeah.
We talked about the $6,500. We need to talk about the $18,000 there that was budgeted for the sheriff's department.
Right.
He can't afford to do that because his cost for maintenance has been so much higher. He mentioned to y'all about the Durango, y'all talking about the tires. So we've got to decide where we're going to, are we going to fund that? Where are we going to fund it from? Is it just going to come out?
So even though we stopped billing him that $35, that even though we saved him that money, he spent it some other way.
It's still for auto expense. He's using that. It's costing him that much to keep.
And he's paying that to who? Third-party vendors?
Some are third party, some are for things that the maintenance barn is doing for him.
So they are still billing him.
Well, they're billing him for the things that they buy for his vehicles, but they're not billing him the third.
Would they do the same thing for commissioners?
Yes, they're
Okay.
the same thing they do
Yeah.
for commissioners.
Okay. That's really for materials.
Yes,
Not, whereas the other previously was a labor charge.
yes.
Yeah.
So we have to decide, we either have to increase his budget $18,000 in order to leave this in here so that he can show that he's paying it, or we can increase the transfer in from general county.
And he didn't have an associated increase in his expenses in his budget to accommodate for that.
He did not.
Then you need to put it in there. Is 18 enough?
I think 18 is enough.
Is it too much?
No, right now it's going to take all of the 15 that we can
It used to be 18.
Because I know last week Terry was working on a Durango, and the airbag light kept coming on. So he went and took it apart and hit the module, and the airbag blowed up on him.
Was he in there?
Yeah.
Did it hit him?
Yeah, all in his side right there.
But he's just bruised up, but that was like $800 just to replace that one bag.
So what did we learn from that experience?
I just thinking to me, I told him, I said, don't work on nothing like that.
Take that to the
The
shed.
ship,
Yeah.
right, the Dodge House.
Dodge.
Yes.
Yeah, one of the
He was trying to do it to save money, but it was just.
Killed him.
Yeah, but
It very well could have.
it was lucky it was on the side one, so.
Yeah, one of the side ones in the seat, the side and the seat.
And it hit him, but it was here. He accidentally hit the module and it exploded. But he said, well, we're going to have to take this, get it from the Dodge House. I said, well, that's the only way you can do it. You know, it should have been, I wish it took it to the Dodge House in the first place on this here.
Okay,
That one thing was about $4,000.
That bag?
Yeah.
Yeah, was it?
Yeah.
good grief.
Yeah.
$4,000.
Yep.
Got about 8 airbags.
Okay, 18,000, is that what you're gonna do? Add that to sheriff's?
The sheriff, so that the money's there to go back.
Okay. All right, y'all wanna go to the restroom and jump into the commissioners' budgets?
Yep.
Okay, take a 2-minute break.
Barbara, did you want one of these? Barbara, did you want one of these? No, listen. No. This stuff on John Creek. County, yes, well, that's my guy. Yeah. So he sent me that. Like I said, he said, you can't be in 3 different, he's got 8 counties he's doing. He's making more than $400,000 on these 3 counties. That's right. But then, like I said, in 2018, they quit sending to Deborah Absent because Deborah would mark them off. So they started sending to the auditor's office. Well, they wouldn't she?
Deborah didn't know all the information. She knew what was happening there, but when they go to CPS court, there's 3 things that Barbara explained to me. She would not have all her documents.
Well, like I said, it needs to have accountability where what he's doing. Yeah, a case number, the date and a case number, and what time he was there and what time he left. Because if he's there just half a day and charged for a full day, like I said, you can't charge a day and a half to somebody on the same day. And it's not like it's $1,800 for a court murder trial. Didn't even have it. I know some of them, 3 days they canceled, they did have it, they get all back in the same one I had. That's what her job is,
Mark said that he didn't think anybody in his office found it. But he didn't think anybody in his office.
I'm not going to get in trouble or anything. It's going to be accountability on his part. Like I said, all it is, hey, we talk. Because I just, you don't just charge somebody and just not. Like I said, that's like me going to work every Monday on court time. They don't even go to work in the office. No, let her go. And you charge different counties, huh? Big money. You got 8 counties, I guarantee it's on $400,000 more. Oh, I should have done it. I should have known that. I went to school and done that. They could have did it, but they did it. They could make more up here and they can't go work at the school. And have a whole lot better life, whole lot better part situation.
That's the way you would go?
That's where he's driven it 2 or 3 times. That's what he said, that that's easy.
Really? Up, straight up?
As far as time, you're about to show like 6-minute difference if you go through the down in that way, or if you go up.
What's the mile?
937 up to the nation. You can't remember what the other one was. Me too. I thought that, so I pulled it up.
Can't stay the whole way.
You run 80 miles an hour, and then that's it. You go this way, all that 2 lanes road, one down hard. I told him, I said, when you get out of here, we'll discuss the problem.
What's the first turn left? Wichita. That's what's right there.
Yeah.
That's not what he put it on how we had.
7.
That's right. When I drove, when I left in.
Where did he? That was your
I called the judge in Camp County. I talked to Mr. Sheriff Canlis and the county judge over there this week. They said it's ridiculous.
I wonder if this is something that he started pulling. I wonder if this is something new he started doing.
Well, the thing is, March 18th, the governor shut down all the court systems. And, you know, he had charged, I think, us $8,000 out of it.
Well, I know they've still been having a little court. It just sounds like they're not using him very efficiently. We can't bring him up for a 10-minute hearing and pay him
Well, that's what it is. Is he charging us $450 or he's charging us for the whole day? That's accountability. I want to have accountability. Put his name down, docket number, and what time he did, what time he left. Because that way we know what it is.
Yeah, that's reasonable.
You know, because, you know, stuff that, you know, you make $900 a day, but why are you asking $79 more per day on travel? My goodness.
Because I want more.
Yeah, that $1,000.
Yeah. You can't blame a man for wanting more.
My gosh.
Hey, I got a question while y'all want to make about carryover. We had last year, you put $400,000 in for work on the courthouse, and you put $300,000 in contingency about courthouse.
$400,000.
There's a one budget, it's not $300,000 contingency.
Okay, let me separate the rollover. I'm talking about the money for the, come up in.
Yeah.
400,000 is what we put in there. But that was, I mean, we don't even have those 2 properties above the law right there in the corner. Well, that's what we were just talking about here. Are we ready to scrap those plans because we can't get these ladies to sell their building? I think they're eventually going to sell. Will it be this year? Will it be the next? Will it be the next? So therefore, I'm going to suggest that we keep it the same in hopes that we can make a deal with one or both of those ladies.
So you won't put another $400,000 in?
Well, it's the same play. In other words, when the year is over and you haven't spent that money, you've got to budget it again. It doesn't naturally roll over.
Just keep them that for.
Correct. Yeah. Correct. Yeah. But you have to still put that into your budget. It doesn't naturally roll over.
And okay, in terms of carryover, did it come along about $300,000 contingency for whatever?
250. What's the amount? What did we budget in our general contingency?
We started at 300.
Not 250. Okay, we raised it to 300. What have we? Do you know what we spent? You know what we spent out of there so far?
I say no, that's $400,000 on tax pay.
I can tell you what the balance is.
And then, we got to build it.
It's seems like Carl may have started at 200 on that and maybe then went to 250. I don't remember. Maybe we started at 250. And that was just an arbitrary number. And the only reason for that number in there is to avoid emergency budget amendments should there be a need for one. That was the whole logic back about 6 years ago when we did that. 300. I'm going to guess we spent less than 100 of that.
Oh, yes. We're in the 270 range still remaining.
Oh, that much? I thought it was
We spent some all, but
But not like 30 range, yeah.
And that's another account there where you either rebudget it again the next year, it doesn't just naturally roll over.
Okay, as far as the impact of that on the tax rate, if you just, how much, so last year you had to have a tax rate that was generated enough to build to make the budget, so you had to have some fraction of the tax rate went to 400,000. If you're carrying that over, it's logical that the tax rate will drop some, because you're not able to fund that 400,000 again.
Trying to think of the best way to answer this. Your tax rate is based on the assumption that you're going to spend that. And so if you collect that money and you don't spend it, that figure is still in your fund balance. And so when you plan the next year, you can either say, our expenditures may exceed our anticipated revenue because we're willing to spend some of that fund balance. Still not sure I've answered that question yet.
That's dedicated, though. That 400,000 for the courthouse or the annex and that, but annex, right?
Yes, but there's no guarantee that you're going to spend it.
Right. I'm not asking my question well. Last year you had to fund that 400,000. It did exist. You had to fund it and put it in there, right?
We didn't actually take monies and put it into an account. It was there and available because we based our tax rate on that. But also last year, our plan was to spend more money than the county took in tax revenue. Right?
You pulled over the general fund last year out of reserves?
Because our reserves have been high for the last 6-8 years because of the loop. We then made some conscious decisions. Well, now that the loop is behind us, the lawsuit's behind us, we know what the final tab on the loop project was. We didn't feel that we had the need to keep that much in fund balance, so we made the conscious decision to start spending that down. And part of that, probably a good chunk of it, went into the decision to start spending more on roads.
How much of that fund balance did your budget call for all last year?
I think you asked Carl that question with the budget hearings, and I think he said 1.1 million or so. I think you asked the question was about 1.1.
I was going to guess 1 million.
Yeah.
A little over.
Between 1 and 1.1.
And the balance on that account last year was $6 million, is that what I remember?
Close. 5.7.
5.5. A little less than 6.
But
We didn't actually spend it because one of them was 400,000.
Well, it's my balance.
But because we didn't spend that $400,000 on the annex, and because we didn't spend that contingency money, that fund balance didn't go down as much as we had said it would in our budget.
That's what I'm trying to get to. Seems to me you've already got that money in place, you wouldn't have to fund those two things out of this year's tax.
You have to tell people what you want to spend the money on. Possibly. That's why it's mentioned. Isn't that basically what you're saying?
Well, let me word it. Let me try to word it. Let me come at it a different way. if you thought that you were going to spend down your fund balance by $1 million based upon the budget, and you didn't spend that $400,000, and you didn't spend that $300,000, well, gosh, my fund balance only went down $300,000. Well, now in figuring at the new year, I applied the same logic. Instead of raising taxes up to here, let's take $700,000 and spend that down in the fund balance and do that again. And then this year, if you bought the buildings over there and you used all your contingency money, you'd finally see that fund balance start coming down. We're still enjoying the benefits of a higher fund balance than we realistically need here. And at some point, we are going to spend it down. We're either going to remodel the annex or buy the properties next to the annex, or we're going to spend more on road maintenance or whatever it is. At some point, we will spend that fund balance down, and that will be a year where your actual expenditures will reflect in excess of revenue.
You kind of see those two choices, either the roads or the annex, if you begin spending that fund balance.
Well, let me tell you some other things that we're discussing that are, I call big ticket items. You've got a change in the district attorney this year. Right now, that department has got 2 people in it. Got Chuck and David. They don't have a secretary. They don't have a assistant district attorney, and they don't have an investigator. Well, David Colley's going to come to see us on Monday, and he's going to say, I want to take this department from 2 people to 5 people. I want to have me, I want to have my assistant, I want to have a legal assistant, I want to have a secretary, and I want to have an investigator. Well, I'm not saying he's going to get all that, but that's what he's going to come to us with. Well, that's a tag, and that's a 6-figure tag for Titus County. In fact, if we gave him everything he wanted, by the time we split that with Kent County, you know, it could be well into the $150,000, $180,000 range. Yeah. So they share on about a 30-70 ratio with us. Yeah. So there's another big ticket item. I'm trying to think of any other big ticket item.
Titus County Morris or just Titus and Camp?
For him, Titus and Camp.
Okay.
I mean, that's one big ticket item we're considering. I don't know of anything else that I would call significant.
I'm certainly interested in our local county, but I have gone and looked at it. I'm interested in roads. Yeah, I mean, yeah. And I've been out and seen a lot of what Al did, and seen what Jimmy did out on First Street with different process where you put a
Seal coat, then it's a sealer.
It's a sealer. Yeah.
But you didn't, that was a different process. You didn't actually turn all that road up and change it.
No.
You just put a seal over the top.
Yeah. I seal coated it with gravel, and then we come back with this ROC in the fall, late fall, and put it on there.
More something than I'd like to be long, go out, look at roads, shoot pictures.
I got, like I said, an article out there about the church and stuff, 3365 and all that. I've gone to what's that, the cemetery, that 3350 with the shield, whatever. There's a cemetery out there in the middle of one of those roads, you got to go around it. But it's about Mr. Blacker and them over there. We mixed oil in that all around there back around to the church and then back down around 3270, and we're going to start Monday. We're going to start, or if we can, 2 of us is going to, 2 guys going to go there and start tilling from Stinky Creek around to Danny Pack Crooks's.
You've been working over there all week?
We have. We've been over the last 2 weeks, 2 or 3 weeks.
Will you be over there all next week?
Oh yes, I think so. But I was 2 of them, but I'll be helping out on the 2. Some of us will be helping out too.
He's going to start doing seal coating next week, so I'm going to lose 2 guys.
Sorry about that.
in all, two.
I don't mean to hold y'all up, but I am real interested in that discussion, and I appreciate that y'all are sharing crews and
Well, it's on. Sometimes it's the only way you can do it because you got to have so many. But like I said, it's nothing like I'm gonna help. Oh yeah. Mm-hmm.
You know, it was like, oh, that was a valid question, for the commissioners to be able to schedule that, work together. And
Well, we've done it.
and all I'm concerned is it comes down to reality.
Right.
It's happening.
Yes.
It works good. 3 or 4
It does
days
good.
in each precinct a year.
But like we like I said, 2 of them. But I'm gonna be over there after court Monday, and I'm gonna help Al too over there. And then, but like I said, but we had this week we had machinery broke down and finally got a couple of bow mag fixed. We'll be through with it tomorrow. And it takes two guys can go over there and break it up till and pack it back down till we have to have an oil truck, because it's so it's doing. But I'm just trying to find a base this.
That historically I've heard has worse base.
Right.
Yeah.
But
Mine has got a good base. Most all of my roads, I've got a few that don't, but most all of mine have got a good base on them.
But we're putting that pit oil and plus oil in it, mixing it, because I'm hoping what Philip did before I got in. He done that road 3265, and I don't know. It's there, Joe. It's down.
Yeah, when he did that.
It's down there at Mount Sylvia, down that pathway. But
No, it's right across White Oak, up towards Scooter's house.
oh yeah, but that we've done. But we over by going to Mount Sylvia, you go down there at 3265. Philip had tore the road up and put mixed oil in it the year before he got out. I went down there and chip sealed it, and there's probably 2 potholes that's come in it, and the rest of my stuff is because we didn't put but we're just trying to find something better, keep it where it'll hold. But it done that, it real good. And I want to make one of that Highway 70 at 71 to 1905, with the iron bridge.
Yeah.
But anyway, I talked to Carl Peters. He's supposed to get with the engineer, because as much as we put.
Okay, I'll go back here. Who uses that road? I mean, you can't get down there.
Well, probably 2% of Titus County, and the rest of it's Red River County.
But this.
I can't put.
I know that.
But see, the unit system coming here put all that white rock down there. It was the freeway down there.
Oh, I remember.
But
then it turned around and washed out.
it's washed it.
First big.
It washed it right down.
River got out, and that was it.
It's a little used road in King, I mean, short of this Texas.
Well,
where you build up.
we have to. But see, I got to get with TxDOT to see if I can make it a private road, because I don't know if they'll let me make it a private road since they put that state bridge down there. The deal. I got to find out, because I can put my whole budget, Jimmy's budget, everybody's budget on that whole thing, and still wouldn't make that road any good. It's just that bad. You had to build it up 60 foot and put box cover.
I became an expert last week. I didn't hang out.
Oh, I know it. I know it.
And they both told me that historically, that was just a drive over the road. You didn't go through there.
Right. But like Al said, it's probably, 5 miles difference to go around the other way? And why would you want to tear your car up? 2 miles. Why would you want to go around that and mess your car up? The next day, I had a guy, he calls me every year, are you going to get that road where I can run my hay equipment across it from Red River County?
You start at the cemetery at on the other side of the lake.
Cut in?
Cut in, and you can go to 271 up to Talco, and it's like 2 miles and something.
Yeah, but
I got one more question. I promise I'll shut up. Is the way station off?
Yeah, about 3 months. Well,
for the time being. About 3 months ago, we just voted as a court formally to give an answer to them, say,
Right.
you know, until you can find some money, don't
And I
go to
remember
Titus
at that
County.
time, you said, you know, maybe some future date, so that's what I'm
I think we would still be willing to put a significant amount of money. I think I can show these guys that we can put $1 million into that project and more than pay for it with new revenues. But that still leaves several million short.
I've asked Tex Dot, I've asked DPS, before you talk about getting a lot of y'all, you start asking them, well, tell me where you put in one of these superway stations and what the revenue is that generated for that county. Have y'all ever gotten an answer to that question?
I have by calling these actual way station counties and talking to them.
Okay.
You remember at the meeting we had the guy from Austin, the big guy from DPS? Right. He says it's not legal for us to to make a revenue-producing thing. That question come up. We can't do
He's
it.
saying they're not supposed to build these with the motive of making
Service,
money.
right? Yeah, that's what he said.
But these new ones, they do bring in a good bit of money. Yeah, they do.
What are the counties that you talked to? Do you remember all that?
Seguin, isn't it?
Seguin,
That was one of them.
That's Seguin, Texas.
What was the other one?
That's a big one.
East town, not county, isn't that right?
That's right, town, that's town.
Seguin's the
Yeah,
town.
that's one of the biggest ones.
County gets a portion, overweights,
Check,
Any tech.
x-rays and all that.
any,
X-rays and stuff like that, it's top notch. But I just can't see six, yeah.
Boy, here's what we can do, here's how it works, here's how many trucks, but you start asking them about money, now everybody will.
Well, they wanted,
If they don't, I don't think they know.
They don't really know.
You know,
If they knew, they'd come up here with all their facts and figures and graphs and lay it out here.
and then they know that it's not going to generate money to go with it, which is, you know.
I think there's so few of them. It's not like this is a cookie cutter operation where they put in dozens of these and every time they start generating money. But the logic to me is, the flawed logic is, why are we going to come in here and ask for a significant contribution by just Titus County when this thing is supposedly benefiting the state? You know, it's a homeland security deal and it protects the rest of the state as they pass through Titus County. Well, I just soon move it up there to Bowie County. Let them put the thing in up there and let them pay for it. I mean, if this is a homeland security issue, but don't expect Titus County to pay for it just because we're going to get some additional revenue. Somewhere there's $5-6 million either in the hands of the federal government or the state of Texas if they really want that thing that bad. Now, are we willing to do it and put some money in? Yeah, I think so, but not
all.
now.
Not this year.
No, not 6
Not
million.
ever.
What we said, sorry, but we said, I knew what you were saying, or am I right, that you remember saying something, you know, we're not going to do that now, maybe at some point in the future. No?
Absolutely. I personally would still like to see that, and I don't speak for these guys because they voted it down.
But what do you see as the thing that would trigger you and this court getting behind that deal?
If they came and said, hey, listen, the state of Texas wants this bad, we're willing to commit $5 million to this $6 million project. And then I said, okay, TxDOT, can you provide,
What did they ask for previously, just something holding in?
No, TxDOT, we had to wait on TxDOT to do some engineering analysis of the cost, and it was, by the time the concrete had cost so much money, the building was much bigger than we were originally told, the building that they needed and the covered canopy and all that stuff.
The pit.
It was $6 million plus, 6.7 million or something like that.
That was our part.
No,
No, that was the whole thing. But they, but they
that was
want,
the whole thing. So they kept just sitting there,
wanting us to
blank
commit.
stare, waiting. Okay, Titus County, how much can you come up with? Well,
That's okay.
it ain't 6.7 million.
Yeah, that's right.
It's not 670,000 even. It's
Right.
We're willing. The first conversation I had with them is maybe y'all can pay for the pit and the building. How big is the building? Well, it doesn't have to be that big, and then we need to it has to have a covered awning and Bronco.
Was that the north level?
Yeah, he was at that very first meeting. So we're thinking, well, so maybe $500,000 to $600,000-700,000. Yeah, that's probably do it. And we'll put in the electronics that measures the weight and the height and all that, and we'll see if TxDOT will put in some money. We'll see if the state will put in some money. Well, TxDOT, as you well know, they've committed money for the next, till I'm dead. They don't have.
Excuse me, I'm just getting a chance. I'll get, what about the Chapel Road? Do you ever hear anything?
Yeah.
What?
It's hanging out there. That 2020 was supposed to be the year that we could start buying right away. Well, I quit asking. The most recent report I got was from the guy who would stand to benefit by doing the job of buying the right of way for us. He would employ the appraiser, and he would be the one to go in and negotiate with the sellers of the right of way, much like Mark Heinecker and company did on the Big Loop project. So he's got his connections at TxDOT, so he's contacting them like, hey, are y'all ready to put that out for bid yet, or are y'all ready to let the county start buying right of way? And
Wasn't sure who that guy is.
yeah, he did our last project out on Park Bluff, Gary Luba.
Gary?
Luba, L-E-U-B-A. L-E-U-B-A.
What's the name of that?
He's changed, and I don't remember. It's not a common name. It was half associate.
You're asking me, you've got contact information?
H-A-L, well, that's not his company. No, it's H-A-L-F-F. Hal. He did pronounce it L. Half associate. He's with a different company now, and there's no guarantee that we're going to use him.
Contact information?
No, he won't. I've got it.
Okay.
I've got it. Here, let me see. I've got it here.
See,
How many have we got in the Chapel Road fund?
$3.5 million.
see, that was road, and that Green Hill Road was on the same deal, and then all of a sudden they pushed the Green Hill off. It's floating up there farther out of the air than the Chapel Hill is now.
Whether you, doesn't make any difference if you think right or not, well, the TxDOT is strapped in mine, so I've got so much urban.
Oh yeah, they go like going up towards Waco and all there. It's just.
And my observation is that watch for several years.
Are you ready?
Yeah.
It is Gary, L-E-U-B-A. His company is Lochner, L-O-C-H-N-E-R. And he's in their Tyler office. He's the senior right-of-way project manager.
And the number?
Oh, you want to talk to him?
Sure.
903-581-7844.
Yeah, I will write that, so it's just a TxDOT knows somebody watching.
Let's see what this most recent says here. I just wanted to touch base by 1735. The right-of-way map and the parcel descriptions are still in review and corrections. However, I can't get a good date from TxDOT as to when they expect an approved map.
They won't. They ain't going to.
Concerning a local agreement with TxDOT, they just plan to use the right-of-way agreement that was executed back in 2000, blah, blah, blah.
Is that when 2000, is that when the court, there's no idea, is that when we started putting aside money for that deal?
No, this was
2004.
2004,
When it started, that account was
2000 seems like that was a little bit far back. But once that process starts, you have to get that property appraised, and then you send out the minions to go and talk with the individual landowners. Hey, here's your appraisal. We're willing to give you X dollars. That should be a lot easier project because there's only one house that gets moved or something two houses.
Two, I think, yeah.
I mean, that should be a fairly simple. And I think we've got adequate monies for right-of-way, but what drives that cost up is not just buying the land and the house or two, but it's the relocation of the utilities.
Commissioner.
That's our expense. Yeah, that's going to be
That's going to be
relative.
a different deal there.
You know, something that I was curious about last year, too, you saw the same thing. Texas came through there and started putting those concrete wall culverts. And I stopped and asked those guys, I said, does this fit the specs for the new lift?
No. They was already paid for it. They was already paid for it.
It was already paid for,
just like 67.
and so
They had to put them in.
Did you catch that, Brian? Did you catch what happened out there?
No.
They literally had some money and said, oh, this is our, your money, we've got to spend it. Let's spend it. I don't know how much it was, but they went the 11 mile length of the road, replacing slow lanes
Well, put new culverts in too.
on every culvert. And when I asked the question, does this fit the specs? And when I said, they 35,
It was
they had already let the contract on it, and so after
They did it on-
let the contract.
nonetheless, you talk about inefficiency.
It done. It was 67 done the same way. Because Dickie Morrow they dug his back up because he put it in there, but they paid for it. But they dug all his back up.
Okay, we got to talk about it. You're welcome to sit in on this.
Let's go.
Iron Bridge.
Better get you a horse and mule. Better carry your horse and mule.
No, they're talking about the one east of that.
Oh,
There was a road east of that,
well, it was shut down now at the bridge.
right where the cemetery is,
Yeah.
going north, and then that road goes down the bottom, comes out.
From that bridge down River County.
Well, they said,
I was a little guy. It was wood, but it was mostly, it was not passable. You couldn't drive a wagon or
Logging country.
I'm talking about 19, what was I born?
What was the iron bridge still there? Was that iron bridge still, or was it wood?
No,
bridge?
it wasn't iron. It never was on. Now, this is another one. The Iron Bridge up there on Green Hill Extension is where they built.
the new
He said 84 they built it, just now. The concrete bridge, why in the world they did that, I guess they must have had a plan. But anyway, the Iron Bridge was there. It's still part of it there, is it
Half of
not?
it's still there.
And it's, but that was the only bridge it was there. Yeah, and I think that all started, they made a movie, Robert Mitchum, with about Home from the Hill, a hog hunter, and Tomboy Franks, his dogs they used in the movie, and that'd be Ricky's grandpa, I guess. He died in a fire over there in the house. But anyway, that was it. So they was asking me about it, or Sammy was asking me, and I told him, I said, it wasn't a bridge. It was a funny story, but it's a pretty good little distance. It just drops off. But I guess there was a road there once. It was a bridge, but it was just pieces of wood. I don't remember it.
Planks.
Yeah, still.
But
I can't remember much about a bridge. I was told it was a bridge.
that from Cut Hand, the bridge on the other side of Cut Hand it's all uphill and it's got a great road.
Yeah.
All right, y'all ready?
Yeah, we got the road.
I'm ready.
My thinking is, when we talk about road materials and how much we're going to have available to spend on roads, we might need to let Barbara work our numbers up and see where we're going to fall. I'm assuming you guys are going to want to hold the line on the tax rate, at least, maybe even go down. I would caution you on going down. You start going down, it makes it that much harder to go back up should the need arise under the new legal requirements to do so. But even to hold the line on the tax rate this year, we're going to have to give somewhere. I don't think we can maintain the same level of expense on the roads. I don't know, but I don't see a whole lot of other areas where we've got big chunks of money to choose from other than that, especially if we give in on and give anything significant to Collie, anything significant on the fire contract. And that's not even counting any raises, which I assume you're not wanting to do. So we can certainly look at any of these. If there's anything you want to discuss in your budgets, let's do it here. But as far as establishing a final figure for road materials and such, you'll probably want to hold off on that for a few weeks.
So will we have a better idea what we should start with in a few weeks? Who's going to do that?
What do you think, Barbara? You got a...
She's supposed to have, she is Shirley Dickerson and the president.
Yeah, okay, that's when y'all do it, right?
Calculations done and published in the newspaper either August the 1st or August the 8th. Just depends on when she can get that done. Now, because our newspaper is only weekly right now for publication, the publications are going to take a little longer.
It is only weekly?
Well, we're doing
Wednesday online.
You can do electronic on Wednesdays, but the published paper is only on Saturday.
Oh, there's only a paper copy now on Saturday?
Yes.
I didn't even notice I wasn't getting it on Wednesday.
So those things do have to be published in that. So when she gets that done, but I can't really proceed until she gets hers done. Now, the preliminary budget calendar that I have says that on August 10th, we're going to discuss the Commissioners Court. But if she doesn't get it done until the 8th, I don't know that there's time for us to have it, for y'all to have it. Excuse me, a meeting to talk about what you want before we go to full-blown Commissioners Court. Maybe have another budget workshop. That's up to y'all. Whatever you want to do. There are new requirements this year for Senate Bill 2 on how you do that and all those kind of things. I prepared the calendar and Swell met with her and she looked at it, approved it, and then she sent it to some man who does those evaluations for her. And he told her that depending on what we do with our tax rate, there are 9 different notices, depending on where your tax rate falls, that you put in the newspaper and move forward with. So she's not able to tell me exactly when that's going to be until we figure out what we're going to do.
Yeah, because sometimes you have to have 2 tax rate hearings and then a budget hearing. Sometimes you eliminate 2 of those meetings like we did last year where we didn't raise the tax rate. We don't have to have as many meetings, but we've got to schedule all that based on minimum and maximum time frames.
And weekly newspaper now.
Yeah, and weekly newspaper. And so that's why I'm saying I'm assuming you're going to want to hold the line on the tax rate, but that's not my assumption. I mean, that's not my decision. I would certainly like to see us do that.
Right.
Okay. Al, anything in your budget you want to talk about?
No, I mean, no. There's, those money we got in there left over from the unit system put in, I guess that'll probably be gone. Well, I don't know, you said give up some money. I guess, I'm assuming that we're not, because we should have some left. With what our building materials was, we added 100,000 last year. And then we added that the other day, or she hadn't got them figured out yet how much it is, but so much per precinct got some. If you add that in there, it makes us have a pretty healthy for this year. Well, we can't carry that over. Okay.
Yeah, I mean,
Carl put it at, he called it a contingency or whatever it was.
There is one thing I'm going to do for y'all about while we're on this. Instead of us coming back and amending the budget during the year for whatever your fund balance is after the audit, I'd like if y'all think you may want to access those funds. I believe the right way to do that is to have a revenue and a contingency depending on what the audit turns out to be. Do that as we do the budget process, not later like we did this year. You understand what I'm saying?
No.
Okay. Like your $118,000 not only access that, number one, if y'all decide to access it, and number two, when we get a hard number put on the outside of it, so we know for sure what that number is.
Okay, any of you guys have any thing to discuss on your budget with the agreement that we'll wait a few weeks until we have a better idea of our overall picture before we talk about how much you want to allocate? And again, like I was telling Hudson, you've got enough fund balance there. You can still hold the line on the tax rate. You'll just dig deeper into your fund balance in order to
May not break
do
even
that.
this year, saying.
I think you can count on probably on not. I mean, unless you were to slice your road budgets by more than I think you want to, you're going to plan on continuing to reduce that. But that's kind of a decision we made a couple of years ago, is to start chipping away at that fund balance with the target of maybe $3.5, $4 million there. You just don't want to get used to that, because when you reach that point, then to maintain the same spending level, you've got to jack that tax rate up.
And now you can't do that without voter approval on it, so.
Yeah.
If you go.
So that's why it's going to, for a few years, it's going to be a delicate balance. You don't want to, every time you cut your tax rate, it makes it that much harder to go back up.
Everybody knows how I feel. I think we could cut spending a lot. A little bit here and a little bit there. But I think we're pretty free with the taxpayers' money is spending.
Who's got anything on their budget that you want to specifically discuss?
Do you have to discuss some kind of changes or something, like a promotion employee? I mean, I'm going to promote and have a foreman, official foreman, and I want to pay him $1 more an hour than he's making. Don't y'all pay 50 cents more an hour
50
now?
cents, yeah.
50 cents? I just think $1 is a little more fair. Hey, it's a real deal here. And the reason I can do that fairly easily, because I do have some monies in my budget that are left over from my employee budgets, because I have two retired guys that work for me from TxDOT, and they are full benefit health insurance, and I don't have to provide them health insurance in my precinct, so it saves the county about $24,000 a year. So I want to pay that $1 an hour, and then I don't pay no cell phone for anybody extra. I want to pay his $40 towards his cell phone.
Where am I seeing this number that you're talking about? I don't see it.
On my page, I just wrote down there that promote foreman, add $1 an hour to his wages.
You think
That
you can balance it
612106 should have some rollover on it that'll cover that. Everybody else is already paying 50 cents more.
I don't
know. Do you do
I'm
that?
not. I don't have a foreman.
I feel like it'd be good for a lead man.
And then the cell phone, I don't pay
You don't
him.
pay a cell phone bill?
Just me.
Just you?
Yeah.
Does anybody else do that?
Nobody else has it.
Nobody else does that?
I know.
Okay.
I don't think yours does it, Dana? Ricky, you just 50 cents an hour, right?
Oh, I thought y'all paid you for them. I don't know where I heard that at.
Pay for the cell phone on them.
Okay, then I don't have to do that then. I mean, I just thought of that since I actually filled this budget out. I'm just guesstimating, our budget was about, out of last year's budget, we started out about $700,000. And I was thinking that we may have to cut budgets, and so I figured it on a $600,000 budget, and hoping I may have some rollover into contingency, at the end of the year after we do our audit. And then we also are going to get $43,000 a piece toward road work on that grant, and we're going to get probably $5,000 and some change off of that Fund 19. That's road and bridge money that will get put in there. So that's $47,000, $48,000 or so right there. So if you start out at around a $600,000, you're going to be right at almost $650,000 So it's just tightening up the belt a little bit and see if we can do it. I mean, I'm willing to try, and ain't no harm in trying to save tax money.
If you go to $1, you'll be stuck with it even there till those guys retire, those retired.
Well, if he retires, you hire somebody new, you can, whatever they're coming in or something. Yeah, I see what you're saying.
You know what?
The next guy wants to be foreman.
You know
Give me
what
that $1.
Brian just said it's a lot easier to not have to go up on it, to go down.
I hear
It's
what
hard
you're
to cut them back. You heard the constables yesterday. Listen, can I tell, Monday, the guy from Entire's coming to
at 9.
just review
During
us
our meeting.
at 9, but we want to start early at 1360 and 271. We want to go ahead and start.
Okay.
Because he said he couldn't get here, and I just told him to come to the barn and we'd drive him out there, or somebody would. But we want to start early.
Okay, 7-ish? 7 o'clock or so?
Yeah, if I told the guy at Ergon at 6:30, maybe John could be there.
Yeah.
And then
He said this morning, he said, I know everything there is to know about the truck if you know. He said, I don't know why we need him here, but if he wants to come, that's fine. So
no, we thought we'd just go ahead and start. And when he gets empty, the 18-wheeler's going to be there.
Oh, okay.
And they can wait on whatever John wants to show him, but like you said, he knows probably more than that guy.
Where'd you say you was going to start?
At County Road 1360 at 271.
Okay. Oh, I may have to hold two of my guys. You may be 2 trucks short, but I mean, as far as, you know, haul truck, if I can, when I get out of court, if I can get, you know, I may can bring one, or if you're in a tight or whatever, need another truck, but.
Okay, I don't know how many, that's, I guess, with Randy and John.
They're going, you know, they'll be on the machines.
They'll do it, so then.
I'll have 2 dump trucks and Brock, which he could haul in an oil truck if we ever need an extra load or something, or he can help with John or something, or get on a machine. And I got Robert. He's on light duty right now, so I got him out mowing.
You got some
Robert Perriman. I have one man that's on light duty, so he's not able to dump that gravel and stuff with one arm.
Oh, he can't he can't drive a truck? I mean,
it has to be like an automatic or a tractor or something that you can one arm drive it. So.
Oh, he should.
So then I'll come out there after the meeting and do whatever I can.
We'll be here now. We got a meeting.
Meeting Monday.
Here.
Yeah. It's 1360 at the camper place, Moore's?
Yeah.
Okay.
Right, it's the one right before the farm road that goes to Franklin County.
1896 there.
Yeah.
All right, let me let Barbara get out of here.
Yeah.
Then we can talk roads. What else do you want to talk about here for now? What do you think we ought to think about another sit-down budget meeting to discuss kind of the global picture in mid-August? When is your vacation?
Well, my vacation is supposed to be next week, but because COVID, I'll be around.
Well, you won't have any numbers from Shirley for
No, I
two
won't,
more
but I can start putting the
weeks.
things together here, the things that we talked about, the individual budgets. But y'all's budgets, one thing I want to call to your attention is you look at your receipts for auto registration. We had budgeted $167,500, and so far we've taken in $142,500. So we're $25,000 short on that right now.
So you got several months to go.
We do, but I don't know.
You should exceed that.
I'm sorry?
You should exceed that.
You think we will?
Yeah.
I think a lot of people are not doing it because they were closed or they're scared to go up there, so they're getting exempt.
Because they were having these
No, I promise you, registrations hadn't gone down.
Yeah.
They may have delayed some, and there may be some pent-up demand, but they're back open, they're busy, you can do a mail order. I think you're going to exceed your budget by the end of the year.
I've delayed mine. I got paid mine. I ain't paid mine.
Sales tax is looking good still for last year?
Sales tax, I expected that it would go down, The judge and I looked at it, it's one.
Holding its own.
$1,000, and all the other months it's been more.
Okay.
Lowe's and Home Depot, they said they have exceeded
Yes.
3 times more what they expected.
Yep.
They have come in.
Well, the people of this community did well with that PPP money and unemployment money.
Who did? I did.
You didn't?
I wanted $600 a week too. I couldn't, they said,
We should have fired you so you could got your unemployment. I think there's been a lot of money pumped into, I mean, every retailer I know, with the exception of the restaurants, has been doing pretty well. Some of these small mom and pops haven't, but.
Well, I know the guy at Wingstop, not here, but out of Arlington, I talked to him, he's got a place in Hugh Springs. He said, I didn't even ask for the help because we made more money. He said, that's like stealing. He said, I didn't want our Wingstop said he got 3 or 4 stores. He said, our stores have been exceptional well this time.
Well, the poor guy at CC's Pizza down there, who's walk-in buffet only.
Oh, no.
I don't know how
He's missing schools though. You know, I'm retired from schools. That's a great place to take kids.
Right,
$5 or $6, they need all they want. And when that's shut down, think of all the athletic events they got.
Well, he's had to staff additional people there to serve off the buffet. He can't afford one, much less 2 additional people, and his sales are, I bet they're 30% of what they're.
20.
If they're that, yeah.
Okay, so mid-August, we'll circle back up.
I'd like to do it as early as we can, depending on which she can get.
When you hear if it's the 1st or the 8th, let me know, and I will go ahead and pick some tentative dates.
Okay.
And I'd like to do it as soon as we can, too. I don't know how it is that Camp County always seems to be able to set their budget and their tax rate weeks before we do.
There's a new rule this year about how once we get it filed with the county clerk, you can't have a public hearing for 16 days and.
Yeah, it's.
And we typically file it at the end of
The
August.
last day of August. So
Could we do it earlier than that?
Well, no, we're not going to have a meeting until August the 10th or something. I mean, you see, because even once y'all decide, there's a lot of work that goes into the calculations and the data entry on this end of it.
I sat through one of those classes down there at school this year that about all of that, and that'd blow your mind, all that stuff they were telling you about.
On your budget that you turned in, you signed your name to the bottom here for the payment on the principal, but you do want to go and you didn't write that amount in. You do want to continue the debt payment. Yeah. I felt like you did.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Some accountability.
I'm telling you, I thought I was going to get away with it.
I can go.
No, I want that.
So I can be on vacation the first week in August, right?
You are?
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
August, we won't have me, okay.
Maybe we can have something August 1st, the 3rd would be the earliest.
Well, let's talk about this vacation then. Is that what you would like to do?
Yes, I'd like-
Starting, okay, the Monday would be the 3rd, so that's the week you're talking about, the 3rd through the 7th? And I'm gone the Thursday and Friday of that week. So Al would like to be gone there, so let's look at, you've got Commissioners Court on the 10th. Would that be a good tentative date to be thinking about a post-Commissioners Court meeting, workshop, to have the next? I mean, we may have to do this 2 or 3 times. We've done that in the past, Barbara, where we've had to meet a few times.
I can meet as many times as y'all want to.
Why don't we tentatively plan on that Monday, the August 10th, as being the first time we gather back up with Shirley's numbers and Barbara's numbers. And at least, I don't know how far we'll get there, but I mean, that would be 3 weeks in advance of having to file the budget on the 31st. Anybody else got vacation plans that you had?
You got the money, send me on vacation. You got any money, I need some money on vacation.
Okay, who wants to bring this thing to an end?
I'll make a motion to.
Yes.
Can I ask one question first?
Sure.
On John's $1 an hour for his foreman, do y'all not all want to do the same? Do y'all not all want to go to $1, or or if you want to ask him to do 50 cents. I mean, it's his budget, his money, but sometimes when you get out in public, people complain. So I just want to play the devil's advocate here, and y'all decide what you want to do. Like, Judy doesn't have one, and he doesn't need one, so it's probably okay if he does that. I just want us to have that conversation. Does it not matter? We'll just leave it at $1. Everybody's good with that?
Do what now? You
That
lost.
that $1 differential on your foreman.
Yeah, yours is 50 cents, David's yours 50 cents.
Yeah,
So it's okay, okay.
50 cents, yeah,
Well,
mine.
he's wanting to go $1.
Oh.
That's what she's saying. Is that going to cause a problem if he goes to $1 spread? It's going to put pressure on all three of y'all.
That's right. I hate to see that. Like I said, some people don't even have it. A lot of them, because of the conflict, it could put pressure on them. They had it when I got there, or I wouldn't have done it.
My four guys, I don't need really anybody to lead. Any one of them can take it and go with it, and I can call any one of them at any point in time and say, this needs to be done. Well, if they need somebody else to go do it, they grab somebody and go do it. So I just can't see putting anybody in that position that when I don't have to.
Well, I put mine in because he was familiar with the area.
If you pay $1, you're gonna put pressure on us.
I see what you're saying.
So
Yeah, I'll do the 50 cent. I thought you told me you paid Ricky's phone bill,
I did. I didn't say supposed to. I thought I did.
but you don't. It's not in his budget. I thought he paid on Ricky Franks' phone $40.
I put it in there for it. I thought, like I said, I thought I was doing.
For next year?
Yeah. And Al's yours. You don't pay Justin's
I paid 50 cents. Yeah, I got one guy.
on the phone.
Huh?
On the phone.
You don't pay
No, I
nothing
don't
towards
pay
the
that
cell
on the
phone?
phone. No, I don't pay
Why is
that.
yours $818? Why is yours $818? Your phone bill.
Mine's $818. What's it, $40 a month? What do they pay?
480.
480.
480.
480 is what ours is.
For the year,
480.
$40 a month. So
Yeah.
is he paying?
That ain't, don't come to, I never did it, 12 times 4, 4,800. You said it's 81?
480. It's $40 a month.
Yeah, okay. Times 12. You said mine's 800? You look on my money?
No, I didn't know.
So Dave, are you paying, you want to start paying yours?
I thought I was already paying it,
Oh, you're already paying it.
but it'll stop in December.
I think Alan's done too. Because we paid $630 so far. That's something I'll bring back.
Let's check on that and see where the phone money's going.
Okay, so you're gonna go 50 cents on your
I'm
job?
gonna have a guy retire December, January. Huh? I have a guy that's going to
Do I have
retire.
to tell you now? But it's probably best just go 50 cents and check on the phone. If I change my mind, I'll let you know.
61, 62. He was eligible June 1st to retire. 16 years, 12 years.
Mark, you have anything else?
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Okay, motion made. Motion is made by, motion is made by staff. Would like to adjourn.
Second.
Second by Commissioner Fitch. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.